Ocean and Brett Starts Noiseworthy.
And a good Friday to you all. Weekend 3 hours away. Let myself, Brett Norsworthy, Gabe Kuhn, take you to a couple of days off. Middle of June, lots of things still happening in the NBA. We got games all over the place. We saw the will of Giannis last night. He attacked, and he forced a Game 7 between the Bucks and the Nets. That'll be a lot of fun. That will be tomorrow night. And we are in the middle of the U.S. Open, and a name that nobody with 100 picks would have picked to be the leader at the midway point. Now it's not over yet because they really are just sort of midway through the second round. Not even that many of the guys that played well yesterday have not teed off yet. But believe it or not, a guy named Richard Bland, a 48-year-old Englishman, not that well known, shot 4 under today, 5 under for the tournament, and he sits atop the lead. If I gave you 100 picks, would you have picked him?
I think you could have allowed me 150 picks out of a 156 person field, and I don't think I would have taken him. I've never heard of him. The only Bland I know of was a backup quarterback for the Razorbacks in the 80s, John Bland, wishbone quarterback.
Who was Bubba Bland? I think Bubba Bland was a local boxer, maybe. Trying to remember.
Got nothing on Bubba or Richard.
Okay. Well, your guy with the first pick overall, the very first pick, he at least played well today too. He shot 4 under today, so he's 2 over, and isn't that right? 2 over for the tournament.
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I think that is correct.
If he eagled 18, he's 3 over, and that's where the cut line's dancing around now. Did he eagle 18?
Hold on. Let me look here. I thought I saw. Maybe I was wrong.
John Rahm
I'm
3
sorry.
under.
He was 2 under today. 4 over for the tournament. That is where Spieth ended. That is tied for 78.
And he didn't eagle 18 then. He will not make the cut.
Not.
4
Wow.
won't get there.
Wow. It has been a weird year for Jordan. I thought he got his act together. I truly did. He had that great
How back
beginning.
is he?
Not all the way. Because all the
Not
way.
all the way. That's it, Dave.
All the way would be
not
a major.
all the way.
Yeah.
Not all the way. Like an old timer told me about any roadkill, you'd always say, you know what happened there? He made it halfway.
Yeah, exactly. It's the U.S. Open does that. I swear to you, more than any of the major tournament champions, you're always getting obscure guys that have the lead, and sometimes they end up winning the darn thing. Like, who heard of Andy North till he won it? So
Scott Simpson.
Good
player, but not great.
You know what? Did Curtis Strange, other than the 2 U.S. Opens that he had won, now he had won plenty on the tour. I think those are his only majors.
They were in back-to-back and in great style, but Fuzzy Zeller, well, he won a Masters.
Yeah, he won a Masters.
That is different. You get 2, but Corey Pavin won a lot of tournaments, but finally got it in 95 at Shinnecock. Steve Jones.
There's a certain kind of guy who's very good putter, keeps the ball straight, doesn't necessarily have to hit it long, understands a conservative game plan. That's the kind of guy that wins a U.S. Open.
Tim Venturi's only major was a U.S. Open. Terrible Tommy Bolt, his only major was a U.S. Open.
Right. Richard Bland, could he win a U.S. Open? I got a feeling.
Richard Bland.
At age
Give
40,
me everything you got on Richard.
48
Feel
years
3
old,
hours on Richard Bland, Dave Maloshin. Let's see how good you are.
I'm going to tell you right now. Here's what I know. I looked it up real quick. I haven't Googled it. I just wanted to see. All I know about him, I'm going to do this real quick. All I know
couldn't
about
have picked him out of a 2-person lineup.
Is that he is 48 years old and he's from England. I'm not even sure how many tournaments he's won.
That narrows it down to about 6 million people right there.
Yeah.
48-year-old Brits.
I can tell you that he is worth approximately $4 million, somewhere in there.
Way to go, Richard.
He is Turned pro in 1996.
You got 2 hours and 54 minutes to go. Richard Bland.
He's had one European Tour victory. That's it. 48
well,
years old.
That sounds like somebody Drew might have picked if Drew was still with us.
Yeah, he loves those European guys, doesn't he?
Especially ones that haven't done anything, which is really unusual in the golf picks.
He was ranked 218th in the world entering the British Masters. He's jumped within 100 spots since then. I'm going to give you 5 things to know about Richard Bland that you didn't. His first European Tour win was a long time in coming. It was at last month's British Masters. Made him the oldest first-time winner in that circuit's history. It came in his 478th start.
What color jacket do they hand out at the British Masters?
That one I don't know. You got
I don't
me.
either.
He arrives at Torrey Pines on a bit of a hot streak. He was ranked 218th in the world entering the British Masters, but he jumped 100 spots. I already told you that, didn't I? Yeah. This is just Richard Bland's second PGA Tour start in the United States. Wow.
Ever?
Yep.
That's a long time.
He missed the cut. It was another U.S. Open. He missed the cut going 77-70 in the 2009 U.S. Open. So he's only played in U.S. Opens here, and this is just a second.
That was at Bethpage Black. 09, Lucas Glover won.
He had to return to the Challenge Tour, that's Europeans' version of the Korn Ferry, as recently as 2019.
Sounds like a lot of cold stops on that tour. I bet it's windy.
His brother, Heath, was hospitalized in late 2017 with what he believed to be the flu, but his heart stopped for a few seconds. He spent several weeks in a medically induced coma. And that's all we know. That's how obscure this guy is. This is his second American tour. He's only won one event ever in Europe. It was this year's British Masters.
All right, over and under. T20 on Sunday. Do you take under or over for Richard Bland, the 48-year-old Brit? T20.
I say over.
Over or under?
Over.
Gabe? Over or under for Richard Bland?
Over 20 or under 20 Sunday when the final putt is taken.
That is tough, guys. I'm gonna go under. Let me go opposite of Wolo.
Okay, very good. I love it when
you're
you
opposite
do
of me too. I say over in total TV time capturing his shots on Sunday. 45 seconds.
Well, if he's under, yeah, you're saying he's going to be in the top 20. I'm saying
he fades. No, I'm saying
so
he
you're
goes,
agreeing with me.
45 seconds of TV time is not involved in the tournament on Sunday.
No, you know what it'll be? That 45 seconds or under will be, here's who led after the second round. That's
right. That's right. An unknown Brit who remains unknown. Now out to 15 in Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, exactly. That is the way that will work.
You know what today is, Dave?
I do know what today is.
I tweeted it out earlier.
Well, I don't know if I read your tweet. I saw this. I guess I did read it on Twitter. I didn't get it from you, but I wrote this in my notes. If we're on the same wavelength, and we're a little like Spock when he mind melds with people, this happens with us. I'm going to say that today would have been the 82nd birthday of Lou Brock. Is that where you were going?
I wasn't, but that's good. The late Lewis Clark Brock. No, I was going with today is 71 days until the start of college football.
I did see that.
And we've got big number 71
That's a
sitting
good
across
number.
from us.
Well, you actually had a picture of him.
I did. Action photo of the big man.
I was telling him, look, I know I was holding up my hands in the touchdown sort of formation there.
What was that really?
That's what I was doing. But it was the 2015 Temple game. We didn't have a touchdown in that game, so that I don't think I was actually right. I was trying to
premature celebration.
I was trying to get to know. It's not a celebration. What they'll tell you is, anytime there's a goal line play or someone's about to get over the goal line, sell it so the refs call it.
Yes.
Oh, you knew. You really knew, though. I noticed in that picture. Well, your helmet's on, so I can't really tell. First of all, you're not nearly as big as you used to be, which is a good thing for your health. But also in that picture. I don't think you had facial hair at that point.
Oh, no, I had facial hair. I think I had the little, my chin strap was covering it because I had the, whatever you'd call that. I just had like a patch on my chin. It was one of the worst decisions of my life. I also had the lettuce. I had some serious lettuce coming out of the back of my helmet.
You did.
At that time.
Okay. Yeah, you did. Well,
When you got it, show it.
Yeah, you look much healthier now. Was that the year that you were constantly getting your ankle
yes.
depained?
Yes.
Man.
Yes, that was the high ankle year.
Oh, gosh. Just the stories on that make me cringe. That is for sure. So as you look at this leaderboard now, and this is for any of you guys, I think we know Spieth's out of it. Justin Thomas is out of it. Dustin Johnson's not going to be a factor. I really think this is coming down. Hate to say this. I think it's
Be careful
coming
on
down.
Dustin Johnson. He did make the cut.
Did Dustin Johnson make the cut?
Yes, as did Rory. Be careful with those. But you think it's coming down to whom?
I think it's coming down to John Rahm. I think it's coming down to Brooks Koepka. I think it's coming down to Xander Schauffele. I can't
You're
believe
all around my top story.
I can't
you are all around my
believe-
top story.
I can't believe that Bubba Watson will be in the mix after this, but
He can't either. He just did a post-round interview, and he said, U.S. Opens aren't really made for him, but that track is as much as any. But it's not the ideal place because he can get – man, he is twitching and shaking and adjusting and,
he's
knucking
nuts.
and bucking all the time, isn't he?
He makes Lee Trevino swing look conventional. I promise you, it's the craziest thing. I watched him yesterday. I can't remember if it was live or on a highlight, where he was going for a par 5 in 2. I want to say it's like 330 away, some crazy number. And he takes the wildest swing, and of course he's cutting, so the ball with the right-hander, a cut is going to be right to left. It's the opposite for a left-hander. And he cuts that thing, which usually doesn't go as far as a draw would go, and it ends up in this little path and all the way onto the green, so he had an eagle chance. But the swing is so wild, Brett, there is no way. Well, he must be able to repeat it because
Except for that go zone.
he knows how to
when
cut
he gets it in that magic area, it all gets perfect. But
You would
he
think
hit
it's
one
him-
straight today, and they followed it with TrackMan, and that one of the announcers said that he mishit it because he can't hit one straight.
It's crazy the way he swings that you think he could repeat it all the time, but he does. Like you take a look at other people that have a quirky kind of a swing. Jim Furyk is the one that always comes to mind.
Matthew
'cause
Wolff.
It's a loop, and Matthew Wolff is another. Matthew Wolff, by the way, played well today, but it's that crazy. I don't know how you describe his because. Jim Furyk repeats the same
You'd never teach
motion every time, but Bubba's is absolutely nuts.
Today, and Ted Butler, who will join us on Monday for post-tournament analysis with us every Monday at 3:30. He'll be with us Monday. He says the best swing on tour today is Louis Oosthuizen.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm not going to argue with Ted. Today, I saw him not once but twice hit a 7-wood. My buddies give me more you-know-what every time I hit a 7-wood.
Not anymore. Nobody does.
If it's good enough for Louis Oosthuizen, it's good enough for me, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. The difference between great players just even 10 years ago and great players today is they have accepted hybrids and like 5-woods and 7-woods. They will use those in their bags, and they've taken out some players, 2 irons,
2s and 3s and 4s.
Exactly.
How far would you hit a 7-wood, Dave?
I don't hit a 7-wood. I go hybrid. So what I do is I have, and I don't even know what their numbers would be, but I have a 21-degree hybrid that I can hit about 210. I have a
I hit a 7-wood about 195, 200 yards.
I hit
with a little bit of a draw.
Okay,
I can almost make it draw.
I have a 23-degree hybrid and a 25-degree hybrid, and then I have a 6-iron.
So you don't even hit a 5 iron?
No, I don't even have a 5 in my bag. I got the 3 hybrids, 2 woods, a 1-wood, a 3-wood, a driver and a 3-wood, and then 6.
Remember we used to try to hit 2 irons?
9.
What in the world were we thinking?
Then I got.
Let's make hard game harder.
And we went the other way because we now all have a lot of wedges. I've got a 60 degree, a 56 degree, a 52 degree, and pitching wedges 48 degrees.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot going on in sports this weekend, and a lot of different sports, and we're going to have fun with it. But baseball rolls on. I'm going to talk about baseball in my not top story coming on. But first, from FanDuel, we've all had that dream. Tie game, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. With FanDuel Sportsbook, you get more than one shot to swing for the fences because FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free. That's right. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Don't forget the offer code, the promo code, CASH, and it only gets better from there. Check out FanDuel's new promo live every Tuesday, $5 Dinger Tuesday. Place a $25 or higher wager on any player to hit a home run on Tuesday and get a $5 bonus in site credit for every home run hit in the game, max $25. The Cardinals this weekend against the Braves. The Cubs still in first place this weekend. Watch out for all the big hitting players this weekend because there's a reason. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. The app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay, and always-on promotions to let you get more action out of every game. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code CASH. Winnings back to you in as little as 24 hours. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. For risk-free bet, refund and bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Problem gambling? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-888-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis, wishing all the dads out there a happy Father's Day. Father's Day weekend, a good time to get by 2600 Ridgeway. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
So let me clarify one thing with you, Brett, because I really don't want to steal your thunder here. Is your not top story, does it have to do with a modern-day record? So I don't use that?
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Really? Huh.
It's baseball, but it's not records, no. It's just good news.
Okay, well then maybe I'll go there. I could give all the basketball news of
Go
the day,
right
the
ahead.
Kemba Walker
Go right
deal.
ahead, Dave.
Crazy.
We won't be repetitive.
No, I'm gonna. So I'll give it. Last night there was
We can disagree that the sun rises in the east.
Last night a modern day record occurred. Do you know what baseball considers modern day? I never knew this until today.
Yeah, I do. I think I do know this. Like 1876.
No, it's like 19. It is 1900. So
okay,
Arizona,
modern day.
The Arizona Diamondbacks lost their 14th in a row last night, but that's really not the story. The story is they lost their 23rd straight road game. That sets the new modern day record. That's the most losses in a row by a Major League Baseball team since 1900.
I started saying the FanDuel spot. Just start riding against Arizona on the road and against Baltimore on the road, and if they're both on the road on the same night, parlay them.
There you go. You'll make a fortune.
You can only lose once.
You're right. That's great. I love that. Good idea. Your top?
But you start trying to chase that streak the other way, you can only win once. So be real careful chasing the streak. My top story, we thought the PGA Championship was wide open, and then the most familiar name that's on tour right now won it, Phil Mickelson. The U.S. Open, to some, feels wide open, but come Sunday night at 8 o'clock, I think it's going to be a traditional name, a major, someone that's already won a major. We will watch on Sunday, and we will see the winner be a name I think most of us will know.
I agree. 100%.
It won't be Richard Bland.
It will. Richard,
Can you short Richard Bland in Vegas?
I don't think they'll allow that. It's too, but we can ask Bruce. He's coming up in a minute. I think I admire Richard Bland to have this kind of success, get his first professional win on the European Tour at the age of 47, just a little bit ago. Now turns 48, and here he is at this point, almost midway through the United States Open, and only the second time he's played in this country. That he's making the cut for sure. He's 5 under par.
I tell him to enjoy it.
It's a great story, but you know, and I know that when he wakes up tomorrow and he's in that final group with somebody that's got a big name, he's going to go, what the heck am I doing here? He will come back to the pack.
Not top story of the day.
Well, I hate to say I was right about this, but I was right about this. The goalie for 901 FC, John Berner, who I think has been in very early in this 2021 season, I think he's been one of the better goalies in the USL Championship. And unfortunately, his season is over because, as I mentioned yesterday, the way he went down, I thought it would be an Achilles heel. And, in fact, it was an Achilles heel. I believe he is having surgery today for that Achilles. That means he is out all of this year. We hope he comes back. I think with modern medical techniques now, and we've seen this with basketball, guys can come back fully from Achilles tears.
Did you break Tim Howard out of retirement? Put him between the pipes?
You know, I think Tim Howard, and I'm guessing when I say this because I don't know the net worth of Tim Howard, but Tim Howard committed to doing these Euro analysis in studio for ESPN. I think they're probably paying him pretty good money, and I think he's going to keep with that commitment. I think he.
You had Richard Bland's net worth. How come you can't have Tim Howard's at the ready?
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. By the way, since you mentioned that, we got a text from a guy, and he's right on the money, and I thank him for that. At 901-360-8255, Bubba Bland was the general manager of the Mid-South Coliseum, and you know the guy that replaced him, Brett Norsworthy.
Phil Cannon?
Yep. Bubba was
and I know who
Phil's
hired,
boss.
and we know who hired Phil Cannon.
That would be Jack Sammons.
Jack Sammons.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack tells the great story that the whole wrestling crew, Eddie Marlin, Jerry Lawler, they all came in and for a big meeting, and Jack and Phil were telling them, look, you've got to start selling beer. You're hurting your profit margin. And the bottom line, if you don't start selling beer, they go, no, we can't, because a lot of our fans are wrestling on Monday night and at church on Wednesday night. A lot of them are church-going people, and we really can't do that. And Jack Sammons says, okay, rent's going up 30%. And Eddie Marlin said, Budweiser or Miller? My top story, 52,000 at Dodger Stadium Wednesday night, 33,000 in Atlanta last night, 23,000 in Denver, 40,000 in San Diego. Crowds are back at baseball, and you saw how many stories about it. 0 stories. Really makes me mad there's not the success stories out there against the virus for all we've been through and all we've done collectively as one, in unison, pulling together. Crowds are back at baseball. 0 stories out there. And there are very few COVID stories of a good nature on local or national news. Why aren't we celebrating the good news? The comparison to a year ago. We're back. Accept it and exalt in it.
I think when things are uncomfortable, out of the norm, then it's news. When you are back, and you're back maybe the first time, but when you're back on a regular basis, we just don't consider that really newsworthy. I think in defending all of the world's media, I think the Cubs Cardinals, the first time was 100%.
Careful with that.
We were celebrating the fact that it felt like old times. I know that I mentioned going to 901 FC and having people around us and coming up to us.
We have, but I think we have a sunnier disposition than most, and we love this stuff. It's important to us. I mean, we got to the edge. We looked into the abyss 15 months ago, Dave. We both talked about it, that this could have been a good run, but this could be it.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness it wasn't, and we are back, and we'll continue to keep note of it as you have. 30, how many? 40,000, was that the biggest crowd that you had?
40,000 in San Diego, 52,000 at Dodger Stadium, and they branded it reopening night.
How about 40,000 in San Diego? Remember when you couldn't draw in San Diego, and it was the ballpark?
That's about all it seats.
They're all going to leave.
That's about all Petco seats.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So how about that? If you win, they will come. And those are our top and our not top stories. We are busy today. Bruce Marshall will join us, our golden man from Vegas, in just a little bit. We will go to Torrey Pines in San Diego. Our friend from the Golf Channel, Rex Hoggard, will join us at 4. We'll talk baseball with Tim Doolin at 4:30. Andy Schiffman, our wonderful agent in Chicago, will join us at 5. There's going to be a football camp Glenn Rogers wants to push. It's the Owls camp at MUS. He'll join us for a little bit at 5:30. I'm going to ask him a question. And John Varlas really brought this up to me, the great preps writer for the Daily Memphian. He writes more than the preps do. He does a good job with everything. John Varlas questioned whether or not public schools, and in particular a program like Whitehaven, they missed a whole year. So those juniors that would be senior leaders this year, they didn't get that chance to play, to become that seasoned leader. And the guys that were going to be the leader last year, they're gone. So some of these guys may not have even played that much football. That year, how big of a setback will that be for the programs that were not able to play? We'll chat with our friend Glenn Rogers about that, too, at 5:30. That's the lineup. We are now underway on this Friday.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the tailor-made Sim 2 drivers with forged ring construction that enhances distance and forgiveness. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with Pin Seeker technology, or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
It's on at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike with the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. And we can put you in a new Kia today for less than $5 a day. 2021 Kia Forte, $129 a month. 2021 Kia Soul, $137 a month. Both 36-month leases, $39.79 due at signing. And Built in America 2021 K5, $169 a month. $29.99 due at signing, 36-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Trade up to your Kia today at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett. Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, 0 security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte ME3716, MSRP 20,930. Sold M7144946, MSRP 20,515. K5 MGO 21674, MSRP 26,170. Includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. With approved credit warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offers valid through 6/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back on this glorious Friday, U.S. Open Friday. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and they're saying it's finally time to get out of the house. I'm with you. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active all summer long with play gyms in stock, ready for delivery. Markdowns on remaining game room products, including massage chairs. You got to love those things. And the hot tubs are going fast. Get out of the house. Get to Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun all do come together. We get out of the studio. We head to Las Vegas, where, did I see 116 degrees? Are you there, by the way? We're never sure.
Well, I'm on my way to California right now, so I'm actually driving because I don't want to be there when it's 116 degrees.
I don't blame
you. Yeah, but it was very much 116. Yeah.
Wow, that is just nuts. All right, how many people bet on Richard Bland in Vegas to win the U.S. Open?
Not many.
Any?
Well, there's probably a few, but I'm not sure how many did. But it's the U.S. Open. Interesting. Now, I was seeing scores this morning, though I wasn't watching, so I wasn't sure what the weather conditions were like this morning at Torrey Pines. But what to note about Torrey Pines always is, and this has held true in past when we used to have the San Diego Open and things there. In the first couple of days, when you tee off in the morning there,
yeah,
the elements are much more likely to play a part in your game. Now, it's not quite Pebble Beach. You're 400 miles south, but you are on the water there, right by the water. In the marine layer, the air can be heavier, it can be damp in the mornings. The afternoon conditions are going to be a little bit better. So I was noticing some scores this morning that were not so great, but so I'm assuming that the weather conditions are different there in the morning. In the afternoons, it's not as bad, but the morning scores are always going to be a little bit different. So just keep that in mind. They won't be teeing off quite as early after the cut,
right?
But just something to keep in mind on the tour.
Well, the best rounds I've seen this morning: Richard Bland 4 under, Bubba Watson 4 under par, Scotty Scheffler was 2 under, Bryson DeChambeau was 2 under today, so he's even for the tournament. Those are probably the best scores of the day. Chad Reavy was 3 under today, so he's made the cut now. He's 2 over, but that's it. Those are all the good scores of the day, and those were the morning rounds. So the point being that guys that are teeing off, like Brooks Koepka, he has a chance to go deep. So does Xander Schauffele. He's got a chance to go deep today.
Yeah, and I even think DeChambeau, I think on the front nine was struggling some. So, and that might have been in some of the other guys too. And his conditions would have gotten a little better when they got to the back nine. Their scores might have improved in the second nine. But we know are always
Bruce,
very fickle anyway.
The person that would have bet on Richard Bland, that's just somebody putting $100 on everybody in the field, isn't it?
Yeah. It's golf wagering is really strange because even the greatest favorites, you would get a better price on the Arizona Diamondbacks winning a game, much better than you would on anybody winning a golf tournament. Even when Tiger Woods was going strong, or Jack Nicklaus in the day. So the odds are a little bit different, and you're right. You do get some stray prices out there. There's stray bets on guys like Land who are big odds like that. But it would be just a straight bet, yeah.
The Arizona, since you mentioned it, the Arizona Diamondbacks breaking the record since 1900, modern-day record, 23 straight road losses. Would you Brett brought this up, which is brilliant in my mind, but he said if you were to just keep betting on road losses for Arizona, you'd be making a fortune, and if you did that and the Orioles together in a parlay, you'd probably be way ahead of Vegas.
Well, yeah, and let's not Texas, which has lost 19 of 20 away, and the Pirates have lost 10 straight overall anywhere. What you're seeing this year, one thing to remember, I mean, when the Orioles were really going bad a while back too, the prices started to get really prohibitive to go against them as the streak went on. But is a little curious about Arizona, that the prices still haven't been that ridiculously bad. Even yesterday, Kevin Gausman, who's been, if DeGrom doesn't start the All-Star game for the National League because he's hurt, Gausman might. And on the run line yesterday, where you lay the extra run, it was basically even money on the Giants yesterday. And I'm thinking, who the heck wouldn't bet that? The way Arizona is losing and losing big in these games, it's quite staggering. What the other dynamic, what you're seeing with Arizona and Baltimore and Pittsburgh and to a certain extent Texas, when they show up on a team's schedule, they can really prop some teams up. And we saw that last weekend with the Angels running into Arizona. They won, swept them, thinking they were back in the race. Then they go up and get swept by Oakland. Washington's dealing with that right now. They just got done with Pittsburgh, swept the Pirates, and now here come the Mets this weekend for a big series. So let's see if they can carry that momentum through. But these terrible teams are distorting the season. And we got three teams that could lose 110 games this year. That's Baltimore, and that's Arizona, and that's Pittsburgh. And I don't know we've ever had three teams lose 110 in a season. We might this year.
Are there more bad, really, really bad teams than really, really good teams?
I think so, Brad, because I think some of these teams that look really good with their records, it's because they're beating up these bad teams. But I think there's more really, really bad teams, and almost historically bad when you're talking about some of these teams right now. But I think it's more there's just some really rotten teams this year, and they're sort of distorting the whole season thus far.
I think that's fair. I guess if we're trying to find the really good teams, is there? And to your point, I'm not sure there's a great team. Are the White Sox or the Rays the best in the American League? Are they a great team? Are the Giants, who've been the best team in the National League, to the surprise of the Dodgers and of the
to the surprise
Padres,
of Gabe Kapler,
are they a great team? I don't think so. I know the Mets are not a great team, and they're amongst the best in the NL East.
I don't think Kansas City's very good. I don't think Toronto's very good. I don't think the Cardinals are very good.
Yeah,
I don't think Seattle's very good. So Bruce, this is the year. Oakland or Tampa Bay, you better cash it in this year.
Yeah, you're right, Brad. And some of these teams that are in the race. I mean, the Reds just had a nice couple of weeks, and they pulled themselves sort of back into the Central race. But I don't think the Reds are that good. And we saw their bullpen implode last night. But if the schedule breaks right, and the Pirates show up and they can beat them 4 straight, all of a sudden you can get some momentum. But I think you're very right. The National League East is really an interesting thing. I am a little surprised that some of these teams haven't ignited yet. The Braves have been very puzzling. They're having some pitching problems, and they're still hovering beneath 500. The Cardinals, I know you guys follow the Cardinals. I've been a little disappointed with them in recent weeks. On the other hand, Dave's Cubs have played pretty well.
Yep.
So they're one team that's taken advantage of the dynamics.
The College Football Playoff Committee's recommendation now on to the Board of Managers after the meeting in Chicago. Sure does look like we're going to go to 12 teams. My question for you is about college football gambling. We know it's already big time. Going to 12 playoff teams, how will that affect the interest in America and in particular the gamblers of America?
Oh, it'll just enhance it. I mean, it'll get more publicity. The TV networks are loving it for sure, because because it's going to be more revenue, and therefore all the teams are going to love it too, because it'll be more revenue for them, all the schools, and that's what's driving all this. They can frame it however they want, but it's something they've been pushed into. Rightly so. If TV is on the table here and they're going to be beholden to TV, then they're going to have to listen to them at some point. And had it been up to the TV guys, we would have got more than a 14th playoff a few years back. We would have got 8 or 12. So this is just a natural progression of things. And it's
Bruce, through the years, and I'm not saying this through the prism of SEC guy. I think I'm stating it accurately. You please correct me if I'm wrong. Through the years, we would already be to this point if it wasn't for the Big Ten and the Rose Bowl alliance, wouldn't we?
Yes, and I think more accurately, you would have been to something like the Final Four a long time ago. And the other angle that is that we're even here at all is because the Big Ten in particular sort of jumped on board with this a few years back when we first got to four. There has been sentiment to do this for a long time. We talked about it last week for decades, and the holdout was the Big Ten, and the Rose Bowl was a very self-serving thing. But just to be where we were the last few years, it took the Big Ten to relent, and they've been dragging the Pac-12 along for a long time. And we saw it last year. Pac-12 didn't even say it was going to start playing until the Big Ten said, "Okay, we're back on the field in late October." Then the Pac-12 followed. But yeah, the Big Ten's reluctance. This could have started years ago had the Big Ten decided it was a good idea, but they just coveted that Rose Bowl. If you noticed, the Rose Bowl has still carved out a pretty good niche here now, but I think I don't know if they're going to be able to do that going forward. I think the money is so big that the Rose Bowl is not going to be able to dictate, as much as it has. And it even has in the year of the Final Four, getting that prime spot on New Year's Day in the afternoon. They're not going to be able to do that, I think, in the future.
Well, the Big Ten commissioner, I saw a quote today where he was saying, we're pretty sure that even with this setup that there will be a presence of all 5 Power 5 teams in the playoffs. And I don't dispute that because I got the feeling the playoff committee will be sure. But I was surprised. I'd love your take as a historian of all this as to why they didn't just say, we're going to take every Power 5 champion and we'll take one from the group of 5. That's how I thought they would phrase it. But they opened up the door where there could actually be 2 group of 5 teams that would make it in a crazy year. And it's been pointed out that could be the case and that the Pac-12 wouldn't have gotten a team in. Why do you think they went down that road?
I don't know, but I would be leaving the door open is one thing. Actually doing it and actually letting more than one Big 5, non-group of 5 school in there would be another. I would be shocked if we see more than one ever from that group come in. And that's the other thing here. You've expanded this thing by 8 schools, and I'm going to say right now there'll be 7 of those spots for Power 5 schools, and more money to divvy up among the competitions. Like everything else, like every other business in the world, follow the money, and those who have the most control over the levers are going to make the most money. That means the Big Ten, that means the SEC, that means the ACC, and increasingly I'm thinking the Pac-12 and not as much the Big 12, but the Pac-12 is just sort of following the leader here. They're not quite in the catbird seat like the other conferences are, and they will reap the biggest benefits from it. Watch.
Bruce, you just did a great, and it was the line of the whole movie. You just did a great Hal Linden in Deep Throat. Follow the money. Always do it.
Yeah, it applies in various enterprises in various areas, and it applies to sports
every
too.
time.
Yep, I agree. As always, we appreciate it. You drive safe. How do we get more of you as you probably drive and type history and prognostication on your way? Where, by the way, in California are you going?
I'm going back to Orange County for the weekend, so I'll be there for where I used to live for a couple of days and then back. And so that's where I'll be. But I will be still working every night. We do the Gold Sheet basketball. We write up these NBA playoff games. I'm having a lot of fun doing that. So that's up there every day. Then we have our picks: baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. We got Euros going on right now.
Yeah.
GoldSheet.com. My picks there. They're also at Vegas Insider and OnBest.com.
We appreciate it. We always do. Again, be safe. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Okay, boys.
That's our man from the Gold Sheet.
Thank you, Bruce.
That is Bruce Marshall. Back in.
He actually won't be with us the next 2 weeks, Dave. He is headed to Switzerland to see grandchildren. So Bruce will be off for a few weeks, and then will rejoin us after the 4th. Look, this weekend, I know it's a big food weekend this weekend. And even if you're not going to get the main course from Jason's Deli for Sunday's big meal, don't forget about the strawberry shortcake dessert at Jason's Deli at all the locations: Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. But also, keep them in mind for the main course. If you don't want to do any of the cooking, any of the preparation, let Jason's Deli do it. And starting to get back catering anytime, anywhere, no order too large, they are ready. And in all the locations, they wrap it up always with the complimentary free ice cream, all the salads, all the soups, all the cheeses, meats, breads, spreads, all the great food you've come to know and love at Jason's Deli. And now the great salad bar, over 30 items to choose from just from the salad bar. It's back. You can prepare it how you choose. They still will for you. Plenty of organic food to choose from. Jason's Deli with over 200 Memphis area associates in this group. You can always check them out online at jasonsdeli.com. But what they are most, I think, famous about is the choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. You can build your own sandwich via the Build Your Own selection. You will love it there. Plenty of organic food to choose from. They like to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing. Dine in, to go, or delivery at Jason's Deli, and always at jasonsdeli.com.
And always free ice cream at the end of the meal. That's the most famous thing, I think. You know, that Bruce Marshall, he knows life. He knows how to live life. My new dream vacation, Northern Italy and Switzerland. And what a perfect time to do it.
I thought you've been to Italy, Dave.
I've been to Italy, Southern Italy, Middle Italy.
Okay. All right. You want to go
but I have not been to Northern Italy. And
have grandkids in Switzerland.
That's a good idea, too.
Tell Nathan and Jacob.
Nathan, get out of here. Get to Europe, would you please? We're back in just a minute. We'll put a wrap on our number 2. In fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at the odds of who the coaches are going to be in the 7 openings in the NBA. That is next on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana, La Guadalupana, Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sausage, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado. Add a nice cold beer to your super nachos. Top with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos. Great prices, generous portions, great service at 3 locations: Summer Avenue, Cordova Road in Winchester, La Guadalupana.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. And yes, I'm an awful golfer, but I'm often called Sheldon because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. I recently took my car in for repairs and they wanted me to pay a fee for a diagnosis just to determine what was wrong. And then they could tell me what the cost was. And while I certainly appreciate a cost of doing business, I don't do it that way. When somebody calls me about selling their home, I do my research and meet with them to give them an idea about pricing and what they might do to prepare and present their home in the best possible light to make the most money. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. You might even hear your home advertised here on the radio. That's Shell Dunn at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now or write it down for later or for a friend. Thank you.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Looking for some action? Sports gambling is legal in Tennessee. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Go to Action247.com. Register and place your bets. Are you a sharp or a first-time bettor? Action 24/7 has you covered. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action 24/7. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
7 openings in the NBA. Jimmy Shapiro. He has put out the lines on who will be each team's new coach. And so you're going to get some repeats here, right? So for the Boston Celtics, Brett, Chauncey Billups and Sam Cassell are both 5'2".
Chauncey Billups once played for the Celtics.
Right. Udoka is 15-2. Rick Carlisle is 15-2. Jason Kidd is 10-1.
Rick Carlisle was on a championship team with the Celtics.
Yep. And Becky Hammond, 12-1 in a group that is 12-1, along with, there's 2 women in that group. Kara Lawson, also at 12-1. Next, Dallas head coach, Jamal Mosley, 10-11. So that's a big favorite there. And I'll be frank, I'm not sure who Jamal Mosley is. Do you know?
I'm not either. And with those odds, he's decorating his office.
I think so. Becky Harmon, Terry Stotts, 6-1 there. Jason Kidd, 8-1. Udoka, 9-1. John Calipari, 9-1 to be the new Dallas coach.
Please. You might as well burn money staying at Kentucky.
Next Indiana coach.
And Mitch Barnhart should tell him, don't even walk in and ask me for a raise.
He should.
You're not getting more film guy stuff. You're not getting more weight room stuff. You're not getting anything extra. Go coach and go win. You've won 1 title here.
And by the way, worth mentioning, Jamal Mosley actually has been a Dallas Mavericks assistant since 2014. So he's been with Rick Carlisle.
Okay, so he's the heir apparent to keep continuity, maybe to make Luka Doncic happy. Who knows? Okay, well, that makes sense. Indiana, Terry Stotts, 2-1. So he's pretty much going to get that job. Rick Carlisle,
played in college at Oklahoma, but he's a Hoosier. He's from the state of Indiana.
Right. Brian Shaw is 3-1 for that job. Mike D'Antoni, I don't get the D'Antoni stuff. Great assistant.
He's going to be the guy at Portland. Wait till you get down to Portland.
I know. I know. 2-1 Stotts at Indiana. Jason Kidd, 7-2 in New Orleans. I think that'll be a perfect place to make Zion happy. Who could teach him better than Jason Kidd? Don't you think that's perfect?
Something has to be done. I think the whole franchise is in peril in New Orleans.
Charles Lee, Udoka, they're 4-1. Jacques Vaughn, 5-1. Rick Carlisle, Teresa Witherspoon. That's the first time we see her name for a job. She's also 5-1. Orlando, 3-1 on Kenny Atkinson. Here's a name I don't know, Darvin Ham. He's 13-2 along with Terry Stotts. Then Becky Harmon.
Yeah, Darvin Ham played at Texas Tech.
Okay. And then Penny Hardaway's in there at 15-2. Stan Van Gundy. Come on, are you serious? Stan Van Gundy?
Stop. Yeah, please.
Next Portland coach, Mike D'Antoni, 9-4. He's going to be the guy. Billups is next at 5-2. Becky Hammond, 7-1. So she's never closer than third or fourth. Washington, Wes Unseld Jr., the favorite, 4-1. Stotts, 5-1. Carlisle, 6-1. Jason Kidd, 15-2. Then Becky Harmon. No, the only place. Patrick Ewing, 33-1 in that one. Penny is the only place they have Penny in there. Is for Orlando. Would there be a female head coach to start the year? Yes is plus 275. No is minus 450. That's 2-9. I think.
What would you bet? Would you bet yes or no?
Based on these odds, and I think. By the odds, there's some pretty good knowledge there, I would say. And I think it was Keith Smith who told us yesterday. He goes, there will be in the next 2 years, but it'll probably be next year. So I would say no. I'm going to put my minus 450 in no. And there you have it. 1 hour in the books. When we come back, we will talk more U.S. Open. We will talk with our man from the Golf Channel who is at Torrey Pines in San Diego, Rex Hoggard from that Golf Channel. He comes your way in just a minute.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
Golf enthusiast, looking for new golf greens? Got it. New and exciting Cypress View Golf and Recreation, just over the Mississippi River in Marion, Arkansas. Cypress View Golf and Recreation, absolutely gorgeous. Your first tee, you're looking at cypress trees a mile long in between a small lake. Give it your best shot. Feel like you're on vacation. Located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion, Arkansas. It's the new semi-private pro golf club. Cypress View Golf and Recreation has a new golf pub with tons of new food items for breakfast and lunch. Choose from Philly cheesesteak sandwich, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. Take advantage of Cypress View Golf and Recreation's new membership for unlimited golf. 7 days a week, only $199 plus tax. Call Pro Mark today at 870-739-6305 at Cypress View Golf and Recreation.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
You hear the phrase all day, every day. In these uncertain times this, in these uncertain times that. Well, in these uncertain times, one thing I know for certain, you want you some Central Barbecue. Central Barbecue is open for you to dine in or carry out, online orders and curbside pickup. And another thing you can be certain about is this. We are doing everything in our power to keep you and our staff safe. You can be sure that everyone working at any Central Barbecue is following every safety protocol there is, and they'll encourage you to do the same. Come on in and get some Central Barbecue. And yes, your face covering is probably going to end up with some sauce on it. A small price to pay for safety.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back. I held my head.
Welcome in hour number 2 on our Friday. You've got Brett, you've got me, I'm Wolo, you've got Gabe Kuhn. We are all a couple of hours away from sitting back on a couch and watching the NBA basketball all weekend long. And, of course, the United States Open, where right now Richard Bland is 5 under par. Louis Oosthuizen, Russell Henley, they are at 4 under today. Bland and Bubba Watson both shot 4 under. So Bubba, the left-hander, is at 3 under. John Rahm, 3 under for the tournament. He went 1 under today. Brooks Koepka's now 1 under. He's only played 3 holes. He's 3 under.
This is the only major a left-hander has never won.
Poor Phil. I don't think he's going to win it this time either. But we shall see.
Poor Bubba Watson, too.
Yeah, but Bubba's got a shot here. That is
his
for
driver
sure.
will get him.
That swing somehow. It's so crazy. I described last hour how
it almost throws TrackMan off.
It does, but it may have when they actually showed a straight shot. So we do not know. But to Torrey Pines in San Diego, we go. One of the great things about the majors is we get to chat with our friend Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel. And are we all stunned at Richard Bland? I did a little research on him. He's only won 1 European tournament. He won it, last year or beginning of this year? He was 47, and this is only the second time he's played in the United States. What a story to be atop the leaderboard midway through, if that holds up. Good afternoon, Rex.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's an amazing story. It was actually last month at the British Masters, and it was in his 487th start on the European Tour. And to put it in context, he had been relegated to their secondary tour, which is called the Challenge Tour, 3 times. So 3 times over the course of his long career, he's been relegated and decided he's going to fight his way through it and fight his way back. I don't know if he can get it done. It's an amazing story, and I'm going to be rooting for him, and I never root for the player. I root for the story. But in this particular case, he threw out something that I can get all over. He said there's only 2 things in life that he doesn't like, and that's a 3-putt and animal cruelty. And I thought, yeah, I can put that on a T-shirt. I can live with that.
Yeah, you sure can. And I saw that tweet from you, and that was refreshing. It feels like he is enjoying his time in the limelight. We talked about at the PGA, at this point, we were thinking some back-of-the-pack type winner, and the most known name in all of golf ended up winning it. Come Sunday night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock in the Eastern, prime time finish. Do you really think Richard Bland can stay there, or will it be a big name?
I don't think Richard Bland can stay there. And although for those of us who fill airtime and write stories, it would be a fun story to write. It would be a fun story to talk about. This is a big stage, and this is just his fourth major ever. And then you're going to be asking a lot from a guy who I think averages 275 yards off the tee. And against this field, against some of these players, I think that's going to be too much. That all being said, I'm sure if you guys asked me that on Friday during the PGA Championship, I never once mentioned Phil Mickelson's name. So I have been wrong, wildly wrong in the past.
Well, I think it's amazing that at 47 he wins his first tournament, and you're saying he can't hit the ball that far. It's already he's a winner, and so I hope he cashes in. I think it'd be great if he played well. But they asked me earlier if he would finish over or under 20th, and I said definitely over. So we'll see about him. Of that group, it sure seems to me, the guys that are on the leaderboard now, that we're going to get a champion out of Rahm or Koepka. I'm looking for Xander Schauffele. I think he could be in the mix when this is all over, although he's already had a bogey on one to start the day, so he's one under for the tournament. Can DeChambeau get back up into this thing? When we're on Sunday, back nine, who's going to be out there, Rex Hoggard?
I think all the names that you mentioned. I think John Rahm and his connection to this place and how well he's playing, that's a pretty easy one. The guys in Vegas made him the favorite. I would tend to agree with that assessment. Brooks looks like Brooks. Yesterday he played, and today, early in his round, he looks like the guy who was sort of created in a lab to play major championships, and he has a different gear when he gets to these major championships. The one name you left out that I truly think is going to be there until the end and would not be surprised at all if he gets it done is Louis Oosthuizen. He's won a major before. It seems like he's always in the hunt at major championships. He hits the ball beautifully. And I just think if he putts halfway decent, I love his chances this week.
Rex Hoggard, you mentioned Brooks Koepka, big tournament Brooks, major Brooks. Historically, who's been a guy preceding him kind of like that gets so tunnel visioned, just really locked in and focused on the majors?
Last guy that won a U.S. Open here comes to mind immediately, and that's Tiger Woods. I'm always reluctant to compare anyone to Tiger Woods. It's always unfair expectations for anyone, even for Brooks. But in that particular case, I think there is a connection. It's funny, Mike Davis, who's stepping down this week, this is his last U.S. Open as the executive director of the USGA, told this great story about getting a call from Mark Steinberg, Tiger Woods' agent, the week before the 2008 Open here, and Mark telling him that, look, we all knew something was wrong with Tiger's leg. We knew he had some injury issues, but Mark tells him that Tiger's leg is broken. And Mike was just shocked. Like, we had no idea it was that bad. And he said, we're going to, he's going to try to play, but we just wanted to give you a heads up. It gives you an idea of how tunnel vision he had to be, how focused and determined he had to be to win here in 2008. And I think, on some level, to some degree, Brooks very much has that.
That still boggles my mind. And since we haven't really mentioned Tiger, which is hard for me to believe because that was the topic of conversation on any golf segment we ever did for 25 years. And no one knows what is going on with him about the rehab. The only little glimpses we'll let us see, I guess, from his own website. Do any players ever let on? Do you have any sense of where Tiger Woods' rehab is at this point?
I think, there was a picture of him this week in Los Angeles, of all places. And I think there were some reports saying that he was seeing some doctors there. I'm not quite sure if those have been confirmed. He's still on crutches. He's still in the air cast. I will say the picture that he released a few weeks ago with he and his dog, he looked better than I thought he would. To be honest with you, I covered that story. I saw that car. I saw where the crash occurred. I think we're all a little surprised that he even walked away from that, even on crutches. And so there is a level of, he's making some sort of progress. I asked Ricky Fowler, who watched the Masters with Tiger in his house, because neither one of them were at Augusta this year for different reasons, but neither one of them were there. And when Ricky did not qualify for the U.S. Open at the qualifier, which I was covering, I said, are you going to watch the U.S. Open with Tiger? And he goes, yeah, I'll watch it. And it's interesting to me to hear those stories, because it's one thing for Tiger to be sitting at home and just going through rehab and just trying to get day to day. The idea that he's at home watching this, talking through shots, remembering things, I think that's good for him and it's good for golf.
Rex, I was a little surprised. If you'll remember when Tom Watson looked like he was going to win in 2009 at the Open Championship, they had Jack Nicklaus by phone join the coverage. I was a little surprised late in the PGA, and I don't know if it was offered and not accepted. I don't know the parameters around it. I was just surprised that CBS maybe didn't bring Tiger in by telephone.
I mean, you know they haven't been entirely close throughout the course of their career. It's not as though they're best friends. There is history there, and I understand these are two legends. Tiger's been, I don't want to say reclusive, but I mean, he's been very reluctant. I know that there were a lot of outlets that tried to talk to him before this week's championship for obvious reasons. I mean, 2008 was, I mean, you can argue
Understood.
The greatest moment of his career.
Unreal.
And he declined all of them. So I don't know if it's him just wanting to maybe stay focused on his rehab, or if it's him not wanting to even do anything associated with golf. But yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from, but those two haven't been warm and fuzzy, so I guess I wasn't entirely surprised.
Yeah. They have not been at all.
But I was hoping and thinking maybe better. I remember the day of the accident, Rex, and I reached out to you. Could you join us? You said, no, getting on a flight now bound for Los Angeles. I said, I better know what you're covering. Rex, that turned out a lot better than my instincts and gut tell me, but I am a natural-born worrier, and I was really worried that day that was going to end up a lot worse than it did. And I'm just glad to see the pictures of him upright.
I am too, and like I said, I mean, having covered that story and seen the car and seen where the crash is and talked with people who were there on the scene, I mean, it's a testament to a couple things. One, that no one else was on the road and that no one else was involved. It was a single vehicle accident. Two, I don't want this to turn into a commercial for Genesis, but I think the car had a lot to do with
that is okay, because our title sponsor for this hour is Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. So you can mention that GV80.
Go right ahead, Rex.
Baby.
I mean, let's go ahead and say it. Tiger Woods is hoping to play golf again one day because of Genesis. No, I mean that's not fair. But I think again, talking with a police officer who was on the scene, he did not mix words. It was, if he wouldn't have been in that vehicle, which was a brand new vehicle with all the new bells and whistles when it comes to safety, he probably would not have survived it. I mean, forget about being able to play golf again. Forget about being able to walk again. It was the idea that, you know, a lot of times people don't survive crashes like that. It was that catastrophic. So, yeah, to see him upright in that picture a few weeks ago, I will say he looked really good. That dog in that picture looked like he was being held hostage.
I don't know about that, but I'm with you. I thought Tiger looked a lot better than I had suspected. Last thing on this, before we get to where we are in today and Torrey Pines today, back to that 2008 U.S. Open where he wins on a broken leg with a shredded ACL. The other part of that story is Rocco Mediate, and I have seen him talking a whole bunch the last 2 weeks about that showdown. And I know you know these guys a whole lot better than most of us do. I can't help but think Rocco Mediate is just one of the nicest guys, funny, charismatic, that there's ever been. Is he genuinely that good a dude?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you say the last 2 weeks you've heard him talking about it. I don't know that he stopped talking about it since 2008.
Yeah.
No, he's as good as advertised. And that's what sort of added to what made that Sunday, that Monday here at Torrey Pines so special, because you had just this wild dichotomy between Tiger Woods, who had the blinders on and was clearly hurt, was just trying to, suffer his way through it in silence, and Rocco, who wouldn't stop talking. I mean, he would just talk to anyone who came within his universe. And so it was fun to watch. It was interesting to see how history has sort of remembered that Monday. Having been here, I'm going to say I suffered through it as well, because I was a golf writer who was on deadline, on an East Coast deadline, and it was not friendly to me. But looking back, it was still an amazing performance.
Rex, let's talk about, before we get to Sunday and who do you think will win, let's talk about how busy the rest of your summer is going to be. One more major left. Are you going to Kent, England? And if you are, from that, because you said you're not coming to Memphis this year because of the Olympics, but then from Kent, will you go from there straight to the Olympics? And if you do you turn right or left?
I don't know if I'm going to the Open Championship. That's the honest answer right now. There's a 5-day quarantine We're going to England from the United States. I think we will end up doing it, a skeleton crew, just me and just a handful of others, because it's a major championship. You want to be there. I don't particularly want to spend 5 days sitting in a hotel in England, but it's kind of part of the job. The difficult thing, as you pointed out, is I will come home at least for 24 hours before, because there's testing involved before we have to go to Tokyo, and that testing has to be done at home. So there will be a stop at my house in Florida at some point before I head to Tokyo.
What a complicated
Because this week
year.
decides Olympic teams for everybody.
It does, and that's interesting, because I tweeted something this morning about it. There's about 8 guys for the American side. Justin Thomas is the only one that's pretty much locked, or he is locked right now. But everyone else, I mean, you could see a huge turnover on the American side. It's going to be interesting. And there's other teams. Like I was looking, the Canadian team's the same way, and the South African team's the same way. So it is kind of fun.
I was just seeing this the other day. What was it? Rory McIlroy said he was not going to be a part of the Olympic Games this year. And good news today is they have lifted in some areas of Japan the emergency state of emergency orders. So it is becoming a little bit better. I don't know if in Tokyo they have lifted that state of emergency quite yet. But I'm just curious, what is the sense amongst the majority of the players that could be in about going or not going?
Well, unless there's been some news today, Rory has committed. Rory is going to go. He committed a long time ago. It's something that he is going to do. I think, as you pointed out, the deadline is Monday. The World Golf Rankings on Monday will determine each country's team. That being said, the countries themselves, the NOCs, the national organizations, they don't have to actually commit to who's going to play for them until, I believe it's July 1st. And I'm to be honest, I would not be surprised if there's other players that opt out. And there's been, I think, 4 right now who have officially not opted out, including Dustin Johnson, Adam Scott, I think Lee Westwood is one of them. And for all number of reasons, primarily being what you guys just pointed out. It's going to be a very, very busy time of year. I think the thing that made Rio so special, looking back to, 2016, is all of the things outside of golf, the ability to hang out in the athletes' village and to mingle with stars from other sports and to see the other sports, to go to the opening ceremonies. They're not going to have the opportunity to do that. And in a lot of ways, I think that's going to probably influence some guys that it's not going to feel like the real Olympics. You're still competing for a gold medal. You're still competing for your country, but it's going to be vastly different.
Yeah, I think I confused Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy. So thank you for.
You scared me. I thought there was news that I missed for a second. I got scared.
No. All right, let's get to this U.S. Open now. And we talked about all those names. How do you see it all breaking down the next 2 days?
I think you have a cast of characters on top of the leaderboard that's going to be very compelling. I mean, obviously Brooks and Bryson being 2 of the ones that, if you can somehow get them into the final group on Sunday, I believe that would probably break the internet. But you look at the other players who are in the mix, and I find it fascinating because most years we go to a U.S. Open and there's a bit of an unknown quality to it. You go to Marianne or Shinnecock Hills or this golf course that you really only see like once every decade, whereas this week, this is a known commodity. We're here every year for the Farmers Insurance Open in February, and granted it plays a little firm, a little fast, and the greens are a little bit more bouncy and the rough is a little bit deeper, but by and large, it's the same golf course. And so what you're ending up with is players who year in and year out play really, really well at the Farmers Insurance right there. I mean, Bubba Watson doesn't play the U.S. Open particularly well. I think he's missed the cut in 6 of his last 10 starts at the U.S. Open, but he plays the Farmers Insurance Open really well. And he's won here before, and I'm not surprised to see him there. So it's going to be a cast of characters we're used to seeing. It's going to be Brooks. It's going to be Bubba Watson. It's going to be, I do believe Xander is going to play his way into contention. He's the hometown guy.
Phil Mickelson, a little testy yesterday, rightfully so. I guess 3 times he had to step away on the 13th hole. He was distracted. He said he did not handle it well. Should we have expected this, though, really? At 51, he was 51 yesterday or 2 days ago.
It was the lowest form or laziest form of journalism. I kind of just cut and pasted the same column. I think I've written at least for the last 3 years, maybe the last 4 years at the U.S. Open, saying that the sun had set on Phil's chance to win the U.S. Open for a lot of different reasons. And I kind of did the same column this week with the caveat of saying that what he did at the PGA was magical and special, but that doesn't change my opinion when it comes to the U.S. Open. It's still the one test that just never suited his game. And everyone who seemed to think that, okay, this is a Torrey Pines, the San Diego kid coming home, like everything's going to be perfect for him. His relationship with this golf course is twisted and complicated. And yesterday at 13, when, of course, he talked about those cell phones going off, I think that's a perfect example. And yes, I was out there. I was standing there. There were a couple cell phones that did go off. It was distracting. But I think if he's being honest to himself, the aggravation is he doesn't like the way that hole plays now. The redesign in 2001 sort of took away all that local knowledge and all those advantages he probably had on this golf course growing up. And he probably still isn't happy about that. And what you saw yesterday was sort of a spillover from that, in my opinion.
Interesting. Well, it was a great run for him, that's for sure. And I know we're all happy in Memphis because he will be here for the WGC. What about Jordan Spieth? What about Justin Thomas? Two guys that started off the year incredibly well and seem to have lost form.
I think I was just doing another radio interview with someone, and they asked me about Player of the Year. And this is actually kind of when I start thinking about the PGA Tour Player of the Year, because we are getting towards the end. I mean, certainly by the time I get to Memphis and you guys' neck of the woods, we have a pretty good handle. I mean, it's probably one guy, if not two. I mean, you have either an A choice or an A and a B choice, and that's the end of the list. Now, I don't know if I can point to one person and say, yes, they have as good a chance as anyone else. Because you look at Justin Thomas, as you pointed out, I mean, that was a great victory at the Players' Championship, and he just simply hasn't been able to perform. If you look at Jordan Spieth, and in his defense, when he finally got back on the board and won, he was the first one to tell everyone that, look, I still have a long ways to go. Rory is the exact same way. He wins at Quail, and he's like, look, this is the beginning of the journey, not the end. There's still plenty that I need to improve upon, and I think we've seen that. There has not been one dominant player on the PGA Tour this season, and I don't know if there will be. It'll kind of come down to who plays the best in the playoffs.
That makes it fun. Rex, we truly appreciate
Thank you,
visiting
Rex.
with you. Enjoy the Open Championship. I'm so sorry you won't be here, but we'll be thinking of you.
I'm sorry, Anna. See you guys next year.
You got it.
Thank you. You got it.
Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel. This hour, he's already mentioned it. It's brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. And that's the truth. I mean, we could say whatever we want to, and we are so glad that Tiger survived. And, maybe he will play golf again. I know that's the thoughts and prayers of most people. But he would not have survived most likely had he not been in a GV80. What did I say? It was like 16 different airbags deployed in that car. I mean, that is incredible. That's the kind of technology that you find in these Genesis cars. We talk about bells and whistles, best buy for your dollar of a luxury car. All the automotive magazines and rating people, they all say that. But this is the safest technology around. This same thing with the Hyundais, and they get recognized for it. Hyundai's been called the safest car in the world the last couple of years, tied with another company. It is really wonderful technology in both Hyundais and in Genesis cars. And they're durable, too. If you go to Homer or Genesis of Olive Branch, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. And then you match that product with the service. A team that's been together for 13 or 14 years. Chris True is their leader. He believes in taking care of his customers. That's why every new Hyundai, every new Genesis car, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. They're going to take care of you. I promise. They're going to rotate your tires. They're going to change your oil. They'll make sure all of the fluids are at the proper level. They'll be certain that your car is running at peak efficiency. This is why it's worth getting on Lamar. Highway 78 in Mississippi, the very first exit, Craft Road. Turn left, you're there. Homer, Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. Still the same leaderboard, Mr. Norsworthy. Bland still leads at 5 under. Koepka is now at 4 under, 2 under for the day.
And the cut's low 60 and ties. It's going to be +3. It's not going to balloon to +4. So Jordan Spieth is popping the trunk. He's heading home right now. 75 players +3 or better. So it's not going to 4, and +2 or better. Only 54 players. So three is going to be the established number at some point. And great take earlier today by one of the analysts, I'm sorry I can't remember his name because it was really good, that the cut line is going to be fun because both 9 and 18 where they are finishing are par 5s that you can make 2 to 7.
And if you need to get to a certain number, you're going to go for it, and we could see doubles. Eagles or doubles. That always equates to fun watching, and you get to watch that all night long for sure. All right, let us pause for just a second. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to baseball and our friend Tim Doolin on the College World Series and Major League Baseball. He comes your way on Sports Time in just 1 minute.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring Ping G425 drivers and the new Ping 2021 putters. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with Pin Seeker technology. Or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. And shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Attention foodies, there's a great new place to eat in a great restored building. South Hall Cafe is now open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch in the former Tobacco Corner. Chef Jesus Ramon is creating classics from scratch with a twist. Enjoy all your favorites, including the best cheese grits in the South, a full bar, an in-house pastry chef, catering, online ordering for curbside or delivery, and a covered patio with live music on the weekends. We're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. South Hall Cafe, corner of Poplar and Mendenhall.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We're going to talk some baseball with our friend Tim Doolin here in just a minute. I'll let you know first, though, because I think about him every time I go out there. Miramichi. I saw him one time out there. You know, people don't realize what a good swing my friend Tim Doolin has. Well, he's just a natural athlete.
Interlocking grip or baseball grip?
Oh, no. He uses, well, we'll ask him here in a second, but I'm almost certain he has the proper grip for whatever sport he's doing. He is just that kind of an athlete. He's also got
he was blessed with it.
Got a great appreciation for the 7,400 yards because he's still young enough to play the really, really far back tees at Miramichi. I will play the golds. That's about 6,400 yards there. I can tell you this, whatever you're on, there's 330 acres. And it's all beautiful, especially in the back where the waterfall you'll see on 12, the stream that seems to be omnipresent but soothing. It's just flat gorgeous. The back nine is like a walk in the woods. It really and truly is. And again, you'll get tested. The greens are starting to really take shape, and all the grass is popping because of the warm nights. And then there's the after golf at the beautiful redone patio with the greatest view. I promise you, if you go out there, you'll think of me when you see it. You'll look at the view of 9 and 18. You're up on this redone deck, full, complete service bar, brand new redone bathrooms. You will look out there and you'll see this gorgeous view of lakes and fountains and sky and clouds. It's just beautiful. It's the best view in Shelby County. They've even got music on the weekends. Miramichi. If you're looking for lessons, by the way, Matt Davies, a heck of a teacher. He's out there. Lessons for basic, strategy, short game, whatever it may be. They've got it all, including a great price. Go tomorrow. You'll pay as low as $49. That includes a cart. It includes all the golf balls you want to hit in the practice range and everything. It's terrific. It's Miramichi. All right, let's get to some baseball. College World Series is starting. Baseball races have heated up. We've got the
coaching carousel potentially.
The goo police thing, that's pretty well done with, I think, for this week. So what's the best story right now for you, my friend? Is it the
on
CWS?
the field or off the field in Omaha?
Probably off the field, to be honest with you guys. This is almost like when head coaches in the SEC are moving around and everyone's speculating on who's going where. And I think the hot topic right now is who's going to get this LSU job. And everything tells me that it's someone that is at the College World Series, because if they would have had someone else in mind, they would have named him today prior to the College World Series starting. So the two guys that I would say that are in the College World Series that are still top candidates for that LSU job, crazier as it may seem, is Tim Corbin and Tony Vitello. I did hear that Tennessee was prepared to make him one of the highest paid college coaches. However, our buddy Jimmy Sexton represents both of those guys. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if LSU doesn't name him today, which I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to name him until after the College World Series, because they don't want to, break kind of traditional protocol and disrupting the excitement of the World Series with naming a college coach. So,
could you see the Tennessee coach just using LSU to get more money?
I don't think so. I think he's done enough in his short body of work at Tennessee, and obviously Jimmy's great at what he does, leveraging that, and I think he's put himself in a position to get a huge payday regardless. So I don't think that's the case. That's just my opinion.
Tim, if Tim Corbin left Vanderbilt, that's leaving 2 national championships and having that program kind of on cruise control. That would be bigger than Jimbo Fisher leaving FSU to go to A&M.
No, it really would be, and I'll never forget this. I tell people this all the time. When Corbs first got the Vandy job, I had him come down to speak to a group of people at like a dinner in Memphis, and he told me, he said, "Timmy, I'm going to make Vanderbilt the Stanford of the East." And I'm like, okay, good luck. Because, at that time, Vanderbilt was at the bottom of the SEC in most sports, especially baseball. And he's done it. So he's built a culture, his culture. And I think he's very comfortable in that. He's paid handsomely. He realizes that he's never going to draw big, and I think he's okay with that. So I think it's a long shot that LSU lures him away from what he's built, and I think really he's like the GM, CEO, and the coach of Vanderbilt baseball. So I just don't think he really, not to say he doesn't answer to people, but he's done it his way and it's worked.
As long as we're talking about teams that opened up our eyes this year, they're not at the College World Series, but Dallas Baptist, I think, is a great lesson for those that say, well, you can't do this because you're in the heart of this. And they're absolutely in the heart of the Big 12, and yet they were able to get out of all those regions and get to the Super Regional. And weren't able to host. But is that a lesson that schools like the U of M should look at?
Well, I would hope so. Here's what's unique about it. As we talk about this all the time, it's all about recruiting. I ran into their head coach yesterday. So no sooner does he get off the plane from losing this, he's recruiting again. And so with all the kids that are in the portal that are leaving, big, Super 5 schools and SEC schools. They obviously have found a niche in their market, and this is a small school. You know that, Wolo. I mean, if they can do it, it can be done. It was done a couple of years ago with Coastal Carolina. Does it take work? It takes work. It takes effort from everyone behind the scenes, but it's a great story. I would have loved to seen them win that Super Regional and be the Coastal Carolina of this year. So, and this guy's been there a long time. He's totally committed to the school and what they're doing, much like Corbs was when he went to Vanderbilt.
Tim, we talk all the time, the difficulty of winning it, of getting to Omaha, of winning it all in Omaha. And this week, I think we had a really good case study. This is how hard it is. Arkansas and Ole Miss and Mississippi State's there. They could break it this year. They could break that and no longer be linked in these teams. But those three great programs, the envy of college baseball, none of them ever won it. And Dave Van Horn and Mike Bianco just have to be sick that they're not in Omaha this year. But I think more Arkansas because they were number one most of the year.
Yeah, I mean, and it just goes. We talk about it all the time, and heck, every now and then the Cubs beat the Cardinals. Stat. So I mean, it happens
every now and then.
Every now and then, yeah.
Baseball's a funny game, and look, people. I heard people say, "Well, he should." Van Horn shouldn't have started. The best pitcher in the United States, basically, but because he was a closer. Well, this guy held him to 2 runs. I mean, they just didn't hit in that game, and North Carolina State played with a lot of savvy and a lot of heart. And what's even crazier about it is they give up 21 runs the first night and get hammered by Arkansas, come back and win a fairly close game the next game, and then a real close game in Game 3 on the road and in front of 18,000, 19,000 people. So hats off to North Carolina State, but I think that's what's so unique and great about the game of baseball in general, but also with college baseball.
So who is the overwhelming favorite to win the College World Series in your mind?
You know what? I can honestly say after seeing, and we don't really get a chance to see the Arizonas. We don't get a chance to see the Stanfords. Those teams are really good. Arizona really, really good. They swing the bats as good as anybody in the country. So I honestly don't know that there's a clear-cut favorite. I think there's probably 3 or 4 teams that I would say they got a little bit of an edge. But some of those teams that we would have predicted that are there, showed a little bit of weakness. I mean, Mississippi State, although won it, they didn't play great baseball. I mean, if Notre Dame catches the ball in the first game, they win both games, and that regional Super Regional is over.
But
they did
won.
not catch the ball at all, but they won. So they found a way to win, and I know Lamonis and Gautreaux and their staff is very pleased about that. But they realized that they need to get hot early, and you get in that losers bracket in a long College World Series, it's awful difficult to come out of it.
Tim, I made this statement to an Ole Miss friend of mine today. I'm going to run it by you. Agree or disagree? I can take disagreement. Dave, you jump in as well. Mike Bianco has made a hard job look easy at Ole Miss. Agree or disagree?
I guess I would have to ask you to define a hard job. I mean,
well, they're in state with Mississippi State. They have some difficulty in state in recruiting against Southern Miss. They're in the SEC West. Their facility, while great, it's not Starkville, it's not LSU, it's not Arkansas. And he just wins and wins and wins and wins, but he doesn't get to Omaha. Only been to Omaha once, but he's made it look easy, and it's a difficult job. But he's
I would agree.
He's the reason why.
With that. I would agree with that. I mean, Carl Lafferty I've known for a long time. Prior to that, Dan McDonald was the recruiting coordinator, and Mike does a very good job of they're very organized, and they're constantly running really good players through the program. So, yeah, I think from that perspective of winning, however, not getting to Omaha, but one time since he's been there, and getting to Omaha is obviously super difficult. But, so, yeah, I think I'm sure he's scratching his head going, what do we got to do to start consistently getting there? Now, they did, much like other schools. They lost 2 or 3 premium arms. They lost a really good backup catcher, which forced them to have to catch their guy all the time, every game, and he's a good player, but he struggled down the last month of the season just because I think he got worn down offensively from catching all the time. So, there's no question, all these jobs in the SEC are difficult, man. You look up every weekend and you're going, good God, we got these guys this weekend, and next weekend it's another one, and you're trying to do everything you can to win a series, not sweep. So, it's a dog eat dog, and we try to tell all of our players, it's like these kids that get committed when they're sophomores, it doesn't mean it's nothing more than a pinky promise. If they don't continue to get better, they're going to be subtracted. They're going to call them and say, look, you need to go somewhere else. And that's why I think there's some good things
Life
going
in the big
on with
city.
the portal. But we try to explain to them that this has got to become your job at 16 to get to campus and to make the team and then to play. And it's just like people say all the time, you get to the big leagues, it's harder to stay in the big leagues, than it is to get there. And it's hard to get there. So
until you get that long-term guaranteed contract.
That's exactly right.
That's not so tough.
You got to be there 3 years and put up numbers,
Along those lines, if you were the hottest baseball coach, college coach out there now, you had your choice, rank for me in the SEC, because you said they're all hard, but but we all know they're really good. 6 of them made the Super Regionals this year. Rank the top 5 programs in order of who you'd want to coach.
Oh gosh, I would probably say Mississippi State number 1, just because what John Cohen's been able to accomplish in a short period of time as the AD, and then prior to that as a coach, just with the culture, the facilities, the fan support, and then the winning. I'd say probably early LSU, then Ole Miss, then Florida, and you could flip-flop those around. Florida doesn't have the fan base, doesn't support it much near as well as those other 3. However, you've got such a huge recruiting base in the state of Florida and so many great players. That's a really great job. So I'd say probably those 4.
Tennessee, Arkansas,
obviously Tennessee.
Well, Arkansas. I don't know how I can leave Arkansas. I mean,
interchangeable Florida and Ole Miss.
You could interchange Arkansas as probably number 2. And it's just, and the one thing I'll tell you that Dave's done at Arkansas, much like Corbs has done, is Dave Van Horn's probably one of the most well-respected coaches in the industry. He's up front. He's transparent. If I have something I need to talk to him about, he knows I'm not going to blow him up, so he takes my call. And I'm sure he does that with other people throughout the country. He's always, just like we all are in baseball, you always got to be open to ears and trying to learn more about the game. And he's always been that. And then he's always been able to go out and hire really good assistants. And then he loses those assistants to head jobs like he did Vitello and others. And then he replaces them with another guy that's good. So.
Well, and Vitello, since you mentioned him, and Tennessee's the one team you haven't mentioned there, one of the 2 teams that or 3 teams that did make it to Omaha. That's a heck of a story, Tennessee.
They've got a great team. I'm telling you, the one thing that he was able to do that turned it around so fast was he is a great recruiter, and he owns his recruiting. Yeah, he has a good staff of guys, but they're all on the road, but he's the closer, and he has been able to close on some great players. He's got a great pitching coach that's been around a long time, and he's gone out and found power arms. They are one of the teams that probably as close to what we had talked about in previous shows about Arkansas being that complete team. They've got great team defense. They got great chemistry and leadership with their players. They pitch it, they hit it, and they got some guys that got some serious power. So I think you watch Tennessee, because I can tell you they're going to be an exciting team to watch during the course of the next 4, 5, 6 days.
It will be fun. Any surprises, big league baseball this week at all for you?
Not really. I'm kind of over all the stick 'em and all that stuff. But, I'm just so disappointed in Rob Manfred. He's just let all this stuff get totally out of whack, and all the while
you can always count on it.
The game up, and it's just crazy, man. Just crazy. He needs to.
He's a train wreck waiting to happen.
Well, it's off the track right now, and it's not fun. But
hey,
no, and if he can't create a train, if he's not already a train wreck, he creates one. I mean, he's the only guy I know that heads to every fire with gallons of gasoline.
In a match.
and a match. He makes it bigger.
He has got to figure out a way. There's no doubt in my mind. He's got to figure out a way now.
That's right.
Where he will pretty much find some sort of compromised substance, whether that's suntan lotion or whatever. Can't be the spider tack because that stuff too much.
Elmer's glue.
Somewhere where they can grip a little bit better.
Bondall.
Until at least they get the ball where you don't need that stuff for gripping.
Kramer
it, and
G-Sick.
Keep it that way. It's the craziest. There's
That's right.
always something with baseball. You're right about that.
No,
and that comes to leadership. That's true.
That's right.
When there's always something, it's got to be leadership.
Jim, have a good weekend. We're thinking about you. I know this Father's Day will be different for you. Our best to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. You too.
We appreciate that. That is our man on baseball. That is Tim Doolin. He is brought to you by the Spirit Shop. You know the Spirit Shop right there. Poplar and St. Nick, 4646 Poplar. Okay, so the weekend's coming. Maybe you want something new, some new exciting spirit. Well, I don't care if it's tequila or bourbon or the newest thing. It could be some of those ciders that are out there now, or there's a new Pilsner that's out there from Tiger Town, whatever it may be from Grind City Brewing. They got it. They always have the latest. They always have a good price on it. They're always there to educate you. They've got plenty of accessories. You want premium wines. You want introductory wines. You want middle-of-the-road wine, red or white. Everything you could need is in that little log cabin. And if you've got any questions, they always take the time to educate you and let you know. It's a fun place to go into. And you'll be amazed at the spatial engineering in there because it looks small from the outside, but when you go in there, you'll be amazed at all of the product. So, if you're ready for a good weekend and you just need something on the way home, 4646 Poplar and St. Nick, the best place to go. The Spirit Shop. We'll pause for just a minute. We'll come back. We're going to put a bow on hour number 2 of this Friday edition of Sports Time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Gaston for FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, and you'll be in hoops heaven betting all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There are so many exciting matchups, and FanDuel is taking that excitement to another level because new and existing users can bet risk-free throughout the playoffs. New users can get up to $1,000 back if your first bet doesn't win. Plus, once you have an account, you can bet one same-game parlay risk-free every single week. That means you can combine multiple bets for an even bigger win. And if you don't win, you'll get up to $10 back. Basketball fans, now is the perfect time to give FanDuel a shot. Just sign up with promo code GASMAN to bet the NBA playoffs risk-free. That's promo code GASMAN, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. Risk-free bet for first online real money wager only, and refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Same-game parlay refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same-game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile/web. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Give you a little leaderboard checkup from Torrey Pines, the U.S. Open. It's still Richard Bland in the lead. He shot that 4 under today. He's in that clubhouse with a 5 under par total. It's an amazing story. A 48-year-old guy who just won for the first time a month ago at the British Masters. Only the second time he's competed in the United States. Oh, no, Brooks Koepka just bogeyed the 5th hole. So
I
he's
sure hate that game,
back
don't you?
at 3 under.
This Friday afternoon just takes that turn.
That's just
So
amazing.
distressing.
So you're literally hoping for bad things from a former
Dave, I don't know
Memphis WGC champion.
I don't know why
all
you would infer
because
that.
he's my guy.
Could you not tell the empathy in my voice?
I really could not. Could you try that again?
Shucks.
So he's at 3 under. So Oosthuizen, he is through for the day. He finished even par. So he's at 4 under. Russell Henley out on the course. He's playing the back 9 first. He's through 6
I
holes.
don't have him,
He's 4
and
under.
I really don't care, but I'm going to say keep an eye on Dustin Johnson. Barely made the cut. Was okay last week in home state of South Carolina.
No, he quit. I'm telling you, he quit.
He could go 66 on the weekend and walk away with it.
Maybe. I have more faith in John Rahm than
You do?
I do in Dustin Johnson. I do. I would have taken John Rahm if I hadn't had him stolen in front of me.
Big man
by
did.
the Rook. Bubba Watson.
This would be beginner's luck of all time, Gabe, if you walked in and just took out the big trophy.
I think I might. I'm aiming for it.
You're
in the mix.
Aiming for it and doing it are two different things. You're in the mix. You're in the mix.
You ever heard Coach Silverfield tell you that in the line room? You probably have a time or two.
You better watch out for Xander Schauffele, too. I've told you all along this dude is going to win one. He's at 1 under through 5 holes
Got to
today.
cash it in.
He's at 3. He's on his
a
way.
little bit like Ole Miss and Arkansas baseball.
And
It's time to cash it in and quit talking about it.
And that wily veteran John Gowen, he picked Kevin Streelman as a shock. He's 2 under through today. He's in the clubhouse.
The photos John is sending me from on the course today. Good stuff.
Oh, no. Koepka just
He's
bogeyed.
having a good time.
Koepka just bogeyed the 6th hole, too. He's had 2 bogeys
in a row. Say it's not. I can't go forward. I can't do the last hour. Yeah, I'm so distressed. I'm sorry. I'm out. OUT. Y'all have to carry on without me. I'm so shaken up. Was that better?
This is the sarcasm you get when your guy doesn't make the cut. You know? Who is your shocker? Because this could be bagel for you, buddy. Who's your shocker?
No. no, my Shockers made the cut and needs to have a little magic. Brandon Grace, he was 1 under today, even for the tournament. T15, not great.
That's pretty good.
But I'll get something at No Bagel. Speaking of, I got a place you can go. You don't get a bagel there, but you get a lot of good Memphis-style barbecue. And that's the commissary, either the new Collierville commissary. It's not so new anymore, but we still call it that. It's at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original. And it will always be the original in Germantown back to the early 80s, and that's where the barbecue nachos were established there. A lot of people want to take credit for it. A lot of people try it. They've done it well since the early 80s at the commissary, and they did it first with the barbecue nachos. Start with those great appetizers like the nachos or the smoked chicken wings or the cheese plate, all that great food, and then the Memphis-style barbecue because it's slow. They take their time. They do it the right way. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big sandwich, or you can get it on the plate. And don't forget the party packs, the 6-pack, the 8-pack, the 12-pack, all at the Germantown or Collierville Commissary, 754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com. Perfect for Dad this weekend, perfect for Dad, for Mom, for anybody, anytime, and always save room for the lemon icebox pie or that great banana pudding. I love the lemon icebox pie, but I like the banana pudding that Dave makes me eat every time we go to the commissary, either in Collierville at Houston Levy or the original in Germantown, 754-5540, or online at commissarybarbecue.com. Happy Father's Day from Walker Taylor and the entire staff at the commissary.
This just coming out. We'll chat with Andy Schiffman about this and all things NBA right now. Kyrie Irving ruled out of Game 7 of Nets.
That's big.
And Bucks. It truly is, for sure. We'll pause for just a second. The aforementioned terrific agent from the city of Memphis, now living in Chicago. That is Andy Schiffman. He comes your way in just a sec.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Bodega, 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 Alpha and Omega. Siamese sailors sell celery sandwiches. Sawing-a-bara, serving platter.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
Did you want to try reading that line on the script there?
Oh, yeah, let's see. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just not warmed up yet. Shouldn't be long. Detector test.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive today.
The marmot mangled my mushu pork pancake.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior, complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sportstime on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sportstime is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back, third and final hour for this week. We will talk NBA with Andy Schiffman, and sadly tonight could be the last night until opening night of next year where we have two NBA games going. So tonight, very big in the NBA, also very big at Euro 2020. It's always exciting when a player scores a goal in the Euros, but this year it's twice as exciting because FanDuel, they're paying out double the winnings when you bet on a player to score during a Euro 2020 game. Yeah, I know it's 2021, but we know what we're doing here with Euro 2020 being made up from last year. Just sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook, enter promo code CASH, pick your goal score for a shot at 2 times the payout. Harry Kane, the great Ronaldo, they would be great choices. No matter who you pick, FanDuel will double your payout up to $250, and you'll have your bonus in less than 72 hours. There's no better place to bet Euro 2020 than at FanDuel Sportsbook. Fast payout, safe, secure, easy to use, lots of promotions, best betting line, America's #1 sportsbook. That's unarguable. Sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook with promo code CASH and choose any player in the anytime goal scorer market for a chance to double your winnings. Must be in Tennessee, must be 21 or older, new users only, must wager in designated offer market, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $250. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the great people down on Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road to be exact. Online at DeSotoAutosales.com. All the cars test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper with an unlimited inventory. And that's hard to say these days in the car business, but they can say it at DeSoto Auto Sales. If it's not on the lot, though, they'll go find that perfect car just for you, where you will be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, and they care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time matters, and that's why they keep it simple. You walk in, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in 45 minutes or less. It's that simple at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County, where they're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Come on down to Goodman Road to DeSoto Auto Sales.
NBC has just come on with their U.S. Open primetime coverage, and I am amazed. Stats, are you watching any of this at this very moment, just out of curiosity?
Heck yes, I got it all going.
There are more hang gliders on that coast of San Diego than I think I've
there
ever
are.
seen. There's a million of them,
Be careful out there.
Seriously.
They need NORAD out there to coordinate all that.
And they're coming from like the cliffs way, way, way back out in the mountains. That's where they take off, and then they're going to fly and land on the beach somewhere around there.
Have you ever been hang gliding?
No, I've seen it.
I'm not. I'm not going either.
I didn't have the guts to do that. I'll be quite honest with you.
I have no daredevil in me.
But, like, they got to get low. What if a ball hit them? I mean, there's so many of them.
What if they hit each other?
Well, that's the other thing. If there's crazy gust of wind, they're pretty controlable now. The technology in those things.
I've never had that adventuresome side in me. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to ride it out pretty safe. I don't want to jump out any airplanes. I don't want to run with bulls. I don't want to hang glide. I like it. I like to run the ball and stop the run, Gabe Kuhn.
I remember when it first when I was living in Steamboat. That was the first time I've ever saw hang gliding.
Be careful out there.
And the technology, because I was at a wedding in Santa Barbara was it last summer? Not last summer. Nobody went anywhere last summer. 2 summers ago, and I saw the latest in technology. These hang gliders now, you can operate them. I mean, they're
That's
a
great.
lot more sophisticated.
Hope they have fun.
But
I said the other day I wanted to go to New Mexico and maybe at sunset riding one of the balloons. I don't even know if I'm going to do that.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
I know the balloon I got in. My parents did it; they loved it. But the balloon I got in invariably would find 150,000 watts.
I did it at Beaver Creek outside of Vail. With my family. My wife actually did it. She's terrified of any kind of height. She hates airplanes, anything like that. She wouldn't go on a helicopter, like to go down into the, do that helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon or anything. Never. Volcanoes in Hawaii, no. She wouldn't do it. But
no,
she did that, and she'll never get on it again. It was the coolest, easiest thing. Like when you're first on the ground and you're thinking, I'm getting in this little basket, and I'm about to go, what? Way up there?
No.
That seems strange, but once you start doing it, it's really not
buddies
bad.
of mine went cliff diving in Acapulco like Elvis did in the movie Fun in Acapulco, and I said, man, I'm not jumping off the low dive, much less off a cliff.
Okay. Well, let's jump off the cliff into the NBA because that's the way it seems. There's been so much.
Got to be adventuresome in the NBA, Andy.
Oh, you're not kidding. Andy Schiffman, our supreme agent in Chicago. There's been more happening the last few days. 7 openings now in the National Basketball Association for head coaches. Is this the most active you've seen it ever, maybe?
Dave, I think this is the most active I've seen it this early. You talk about just blockbuster moves and Rick Carlisle leaving the organization. And Jays before, Donnie Nelson, their longtime GM of 24 years, who's a good friend of mine, leaving the organization, things that you just didn't ever see coming. And I think there's some internal reasons behind the exodus in Dallas that I won't get into here. And then you talk about Stan Van Gundy being one and done in New Orleans, which is honestly pretty surprising because New Orleans was fighting for the playoffs all year. And there's a lot of excitement growing, obviously, with Zion and Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and the young core they have. It is surprising that all of a sudden, to me, that Stan Van Gundy is out as the New Orleans coach. Obviously, Nate Bjorkgren in Indiana, Terry Stotts in Portland. All this going on literally within 2 weeks after the end of the season this early, combined with the massive trade between Oklahoma City and Boston today that sent Kemba Walker to Oklahoma City and Al Horford and Moses Brown to Boston. There's just a lot going on. A lot of times you don't really see these moves until later in the summer.
I don't want you to compromise any confidentiality. I really do not. But it sure seems apparent, and we basically heard this from Doncic, is that Donnie Nelson, who I guess is your buddy, and I'd like to meet his father because what is he growing marijuana in Maui now? Donnie Nelson got fired, and I don't think Rick Carlisle or Luka Doncic like that. Do we?
Nope.
Does that bode poorly for Mark Cuban with Doncic in the future?
Well, everything that you see in the media in the last few days, despite his displeasure with these personnel moves, Dave, you still see him being very explicit and very vocal that I do intend to sign his Supermax extension, which he'll be eligible for coming up, 6-year extension, given his status in the NBA, coming off his rookie contract. So I have to believe that despite all these moves, Luka Doncic is not coming out making it known that he plans to sign this extension with Dallas if you're not going to. It's just not. And so he may have a chip on his shoulder. He may be a little bit disgruntled, but I don't suspect for a second that he's going to be leaving Dallas. They've had success despite losing in the first round of the playoffs this year. A change may be welcome. We'll see what they do in free agency and the draft, and maybe they add a couple other nice pieces. They got to go out there, and that's the thing with Dallas. And now, not only necessarily in the GM role, but in terms of a coach, this is not a rebuild, in my opinion. This is not a rebuild situation where you go out and you get a Taylor Jenkins-esque coach, a young coach that maybe doesn't have much experience that you're trying to just grow your core with. You're trying to insert a Doc Rivers type of coach in there to continue to climb the ladder in the playoffs and take the Mavs to the next level, which for them is the Western Conference playoffs, no doubt. And so it'd be really interesting to see what happens in their coaching search here in the coming weeks and the coming months. So it seems for sure that Luka is unhappy with these moves, but it doesn't seem like he plans to leave Dallas.
Well, just remind us, if you will, he can get signed to a 6-year Supermax contract. What does that mean financially, or the offer they can give him compared to what the other people can offer?
Sure. So other teams would be able to offer him maximum 4-year deals in free agency. So I think he's going into his 4th year, and so he'll be eligible to sign this extension now up until the start of next season. And if he does not sign that, then next year in his 4th year, he would be he would finish out his rookie deal. The following year, if they put a qualifying offer on the table, he would be a restricted free agent, and they could keep him for a year if he played for the qualifying offer. During that time, if he is restricted, then any other team could make an offer, allowing Dallas to have 2 days to match that offer. I don't think we'll get to that at all. I think that Dallas for sure has a leg up because they can offer him an extension like this before he's hitting the market, before any other team can have any sort of crack at him. And so there's a huge advantage that they can give him more money. They can give him more raises, is what an 8% raises from year to year versus the other, 5% from other teams. They can give him additional years. And to qualify for that, you've had to come off your rookie deal and be named to an All-NBA team, make the All-Star team. These are, each of these things are options. And Luke has obviously done that, so he's able to sign this Supermax extension. Other teams would not be able to have that ability to do that.
Andy, it is often said about people, but you've heard it a lot since the Donnie Nelson ouster in Dallas, about Donnie and his dad, Don Nelson, that they do not have a single enemy, that they are beloved by everybody they've ever dealt with. I can only give one little anecdotal story to what a nice fella he is. And you talked about he's a good friend of yours and a friend of ours. I was in Dallas for a Cotton Bowl. A friend of ours called and got me a ticket for a Mavericks game like on New Year's Eve. And Rodney Carney had the best dunk I've ever seen in my life that night between the T-Wolves and the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I'm thinking? It's going to be left at will call and kind of go through that whole dance. About an hour out from when I'm going to pick it up, Donnie Nelson calls me on his cell, says, "Hey, I'm over at the W across the street. Come get your ticket." So I go and get it. So I think, okay, that's very nice. So I get inside. My seat's by him and 2 rows behind Cuban.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. That's very classic Donnie. He's one of the most personable guys. And I always appreciate in this business people that you can carry on a conversation, have a relationship with outside of just business and basketball. And he is at the top of that list in terms of just being a friend. You can talk to him about anything beyond basketball, and he would prefer it that way. He wants to talk about anything beyond basketball, and we've been lucky enough, he's always during the combine. He comes to Chicago. He posts up in our office. We basically have to kick him out at the end of the day because he never wants to leave, and he will talk with anyone and everyone, getting to know them. What do they do with our office, where they're from, stories about where they're from. It's great. We have a person in our office actually the all-time leading three-point shooter in Northwestern women's basketball history. And years ago, after a workout that we had that Dallas was at, Donnie challenged her to a three-point shootout. And he's sitting there in his business attire, and she's in her business attire, and they're just shooting threes left and right. Of course, Donnie's signing in the three-point shot she does. But it's just that's the sort of guy he is. And everyone in the business respects him so much, not only because of his father, Donnie Nelson Sr.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with Larry Harris with Golden State. Just not only because of the pedigree, but just his overall presence and the fact that he really makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. And you really can't say that about every front office member that you deal with in this business and every GM. And a lot of times you just feel like they're only interested in business and trying to negotiate a deal. And if you don't have anything of value to say to them, they're just going to move on in the conversation. That was never Donnie. So I expect him to land on his feet in another organization. I'm excited for his future. I hope I get to work with the guy again. He's been great to work with, but it'll be really interesting. I think this is a definitely turning point for Dallas. They've got big decisions to make in free agency. We have our guy there, Tim Hardaway Jr., that had a phenomenal playoff series. I think he had 4 or 5 20-point games in round one. He had a really strong finish to the season, and seemingly most players respected Rick Carlisle on that bench and in that locker room, and they have to make some important decisions, not only with their free agents, but in the two most integral positions on that team. And so it'll really be interesting to see how Mark Cuban, as the owner, handles these hirings, let's say. And I think that's going to really set the franchise up. It's going to either make him or break him for the next few years. And it's really going to be a telltale sign for Luka, because he's the guy you got to keep happy in all this for sure.
How long will Rick Carlisle be out of a job?
I think less than 2 seasons.
You think he'll be out next season? I think he'll have a job next year.
I think he will, but again, it wouldn't shock me if for whatever reason he doesn't. And here's why I say that. I think a lot of these organizations that are getting rid of their coaches, like Portland, I believe they are an organization that completely could blow up their roster. You keep Damian Lillard, everyone else is tradable. Everyone else is touchable. You talk about Orlando, Steve Clifford, they're not really going anywhere anytime soon. I'd be shocked. Not to say that Rick Carlisle couldn't go into these places and do a really good job, but I just think these other teams might want someone a little bit younger, kind of, again, that role that Taylor Jenkins brought. Another higher level assistant or associate head coach from a winning team that now is taking the reins in their own team, just like Houston did with Steven Silas last year. I could see that being the route a lot of these teams go. And I just think another playoff level team, just like Philadelphia did when they got rid of Brett Brown and brought in Doc Rivers. I mean, last summer, Doc Rivers was out of a job for all of 72 hours. I think he was fired from the Clippers on a Monday and got the Philly job on a Thursday. And until another job like that opens up, I wouldn't be shocked if Rick does not get hired for the 21-22 season right away. Now, maybe he gets hired halfway through the season if he's still out of the game. I think he's going to be connected to the game somehow. He'll be great in doing broadcasting for NBA TV or what have you. And if not, then I do think by next year he'll have a full-time job. Again, I'm not saying he's not going to be hired this year, but I wouldn't be shocked if it takes another year.
One team already in the NBA's version of the Final Four. Who are the other 3 teams? You mentioned Doc Rivers. Could tonight be another, oh no, not again for Doc?
What Trae Young is doing, juxtaposed with what Philadelphia did, or if you want to say what they didn't do Wednesday, is unbelievable. That game Wednesday night in Philadelphia was one of the worst collapses by a team and a well-coached team that I have ever seen. They were up, I think, 26 points. They were up 18 going into the fourth. And I feel bad, genuinely bad for a guy like Ben Simmons. You can see it on his face. He's out there. He went 4 for 14 from the line. He's got a target on his back anytime teams need to extend the game and get extra possessions. It's to the point now you can't afford to have him on the floor in crunch time. And it's a shame because he's elite defensively. The way he moves, footwork, being 6'10", his length, it's just a shame. And I don't think so. I don't think that Philadelphia is going to all of a sudden come back and win these next 2. I think Atlanta could close it out. I just think they've got the momentum. They've got so much confidence right now, so much confidence. And it's just the other end of the spectrum for Philadelphia. I mean, how do you pull yourself up and overcome what they just went through Wednesday to try and get a win in Atlanta tonight? I think that's very, very difficult.
I'm in total agreement with you. That collapse, the way they played at the end, Embiid was terrible. That's the second, fourth quarter where he's just been awful. And, I want to feel sorry for Ben Simmons. I know he's a nice guy. I know his collegiate coach, Charlie Leonard, just thinks he's one of the great kids of all time. But you're making $33 million. You've got to learn how to shoot, and you've got to learn how to shoot free throws. When you're shooting 33% from the free throw line, that is inexcusable.
it's inexcusable for every NBA player, not to cut you off, Dave, but you hit the nail on the head. When you're making that much money, you're their franchise player, number one overall pick. It's a shame to see. And you would think by this point in his career, having been in the NBA for a number of years, he would have gotten to the point where he can, I'm not saying be a 90+% free throw shooter, but go out there and be 70+. That's 65 to 70 even.
50.
That's below average, but go out there and do that. I mean, just give us something. You've played through pressure before in your career. You've got you got the keys to the car in Philadelphia. You know, it is a little bit disheartening to see, and you just feel bad for the guy.
Which was more amazing in your mind? That total collapse, 26 points, you're up, or the performance put on by Kevin Durant, not last night, but the game before that where he had 49 points?
Well, I think you have to look at it from whatever perspective you take, right? If you look at it from a negative perspective, then it's definitely the Philadelphia collapse. If you look at it as just a basketball fan positivity, for sure, Durant's performance. And that was unbelievable what he did. And you talk about in sports, these players, these athletes having the will to win and just grinding it out, finding a way to put your team on your shoulders. Kevin Durant epitomized that sentiment and that philosophy on Wednesday and what he did to Milwaukee. Those shots he was hitting, unbelievable. And that last three he hit when he was off balance, it was pretty far out. I mean, it was just incredible. And what he does on a nightly basis is incredible. And so even without Kyrie, even without a fully healthy James Harden that's not going out there putting up 30 points, you can never count out Brooklyn, even if their bench is giving you nothing, because of KD. And I think everyone kind of forgets about him because of the injuries. They want to rag on him because he jumped from Oklahoma City to Golden State, now he's joining this team in Brooklyn. You cannot argue with the fact that he is one of the greatest scorers this league has ever seen. And Wednesday night was absolutely evident of that. It was unbelievable. So for me, as a basketball fan, I'm going to go with KD's performance because I'm all about positivity and just fun, great performances. I don't want to harp on negativity. Plus, I have three guys on the Hawks, so I'm very happy to see that. So I want to go the other direction. But wow, what Kevin Durant was doing! I'm so excited for this Game 7 tomorrow night in Brooklyn. I cannot wait.
And off that devastating injury to just put a little bit on top. See, Andy, I think to the critics of him and the super team and shopping around and getting with the Golden State, I think all that gets negated by what he's come back from an injury that would have ended the career of a lot of people.
I agree. Came back from his Achilles injury well before he was scheduled to, and he's playing at elite level. 100% you're right. You sit there and anything negative goes out the door. All you got to do is watch what he's done in the playoffs and watch that game Wednesday. There's no doubt about it. He's never been better, in my opinion, and he is a guy that thrives under pressure, that wants to put the team on his back. And it's not from a selfish or an ego standpoint. He just knows how good he is and he wants to win. And you can see it in his emotion. You can see the passion in his eyes, the way he plays, his body language, going to and from the bench in between timeouts. It's unmatched. And he's just got that killer instinct that you always see in superstar players. LeBron has it, Kobe had it, and absolutely KD has it.
No doubt. All right, you mentioned earlier the trade Kansas City and
Oklahoma City,
and Boston. Kemba Walker, Al Horford, those are the two principals. I think you said blockbuster. Kemba Walker hasn't played a full season in how long?
Sure.
And Horford's a good player, but certainly not a all-star player, I don't think.
Sure.
Is this a major trade, and who wins?
Well, I consider it a major trade because they're two big pieces for each team. And I like what Boston did probably more than what Oklahoma City did, not to take anything away from OKC, but Boston just got rid of 2 years, $73+ million in Kemba Walker's contract. Just like you said, Dave, for a guy that is an elite level player but hasn't played a full season in a couple of years and hasn't really been fully healthy. And yes, you're taking back Al Horford, who's 35 years old, who didn't play the back half of the season this year with Oklahoma City because they were just trying to tank and lose games. But on a championship level team, Horford can obviously give you a lot, even still at 35 years old. Then you take back a very exciting young big in Moses Brown that was very productive with Oklahoma City, who was on a two-way, converted to a regular season contract. So he's a great value. And now if you're Boston, besides Horford, you're talking about a future front court with Robert Williams, who's an exciting player, very athletic, then Moses Brown, getting off Kemba's contract, which gives Boston an absolute ton of financial flexibility heading into next summer, which is a huge summer for free agents. Guys like Chris Paul, if he picks up his player option and next season will be a free agent. Our guy Bradley Beal. We talk about James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Durant, Curry, Kawhi, Zach LaVine, Kyrie, Butler. All these guys are unrestricted or have the ability to be unrestricted free agents next year. And Boston is not a team that I'm looking at that's going to be rebuilding. You talk about getting a healthy Marcus Smart out there, a healthy Jaylen Brown, combine these guys with Jason Tatum and what he's done, they're still right there to be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. So they will be an attractive market for some of these big-time free agents I just mentioned, and now you set yourself up financially to go after one of these guys. And on the OKC side, look, I do think they're just sort of renting Kemba Walker. They're not looking at him as the point guard of the future. Maybe Kemba looks at it as an opportunity to sort of resurrect his career. You look at what Chris Paul did there, went from OKC, brought them back to the playoffs, and turned that into a phenomenal starting job with Phoenix and what they're doing right now. He could follow in that same path. I just love the financial flexibility they created for Boston.
All right, my friend, enjoy it all. Have you gone to any of the Cub games now that it's 100%?
Well, I've been to one last weekend with our draft class, and it was the Cardinals, and it was phenomenal. We got to go to a suite, and it was very fun. And I'm going to go again Tuesday against Cleveland. Of course, next week's the NBA Combine here in Chicago, so I'll be pretty busy after that. And they've been fun. It's funny, you'll appreciate this, Dave. My parents are here this weekend. I tried to get my dad to agree to go to the Cubs game, but we just got too much stuff going on. But it's fun to have him here for Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to you guys as well.
Oh, what a wonderful gift! That is terrific that he's come to Chicago for that. And that is outstanding. Give him my best, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
All right, thanks, guys.
You got it. That is our agent in Chicago. That is Andy Schiffman. He's brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Also, that is where you'll find Genesis of Olive Branch, same building. They are really getting bigger. They've got more. They're getting more and more cars back in. That's the good news. And by the way, I should point this out. They have had the best 3 months maybe in their history. Chris True is so happy. All the guys, 13 years they've been together, a machine at taking care of people. They really are. And it just continues. I know they're really pleased with the way it has gone. They would love to have more cars on the lot, and they're going to get them. They're going to get GV70s. That's the new SUV that is coming from Genesis. We bragged on the GV80. We had Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel basically say the Genesis GV80, that's the bigger SUV that's on the market now. That saved Tiger Woods' life. There's no question about that. Same technology going into the smaller one that'll be here around football season, the GV70. But you can get G70s, G80s, G90s right now, and you know how good the product is. You know about the technology, and you know about the durability because you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty with every new Genesis or Hyundai. It's just their rule. And the other thing is they're going to take care of you. Got product, now service. They give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new car there, too. They want to change your oil. They want to rotate your tires. They want to make sure your car will be in peak performance because that's the philosophy of Chris True. He's got the product. Now let him take care of you. So you just have to get on Lamar into Mississippi, exit 1, Craft Road, turn left. You're there. You'll love what you see at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I know we're getting closer to football because we have football camps. And when there are football camps, that means we hear from our coach, Glenn Rogers Jr. He comes your way in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hey Mid-South, we're ready to wow you at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike with the Enjoy Your Summer in Style sales event, and there's no better road trip than in a new ride. Get 40 mpg highway with 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $14,735 or $189 a month. Need a little extra room? 7-passenger 2020 Outlander with Tri-Zone climate control, $349 a month. Plus 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $25,975 or $299 a month. All powered by a stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 stock number MHF 06284, MSRP 17735, Outlander NZO 11927, MSRP 30540, Cross NZ 004494, MSRP 27725, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. DF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/21. Dealer stock only.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Nobody catching Richard Bland at the moment. Phil Mickelson has a chance to make the cut. He's still hanging around at 3 over. Gary Woodland, former U.S. Open champion. He just made a birdie to get to the cut line. That was big for him. We'll keep our eyes. We'll update you at the end of the show on what is going on at Torrey Pines. But it's still Bland in at 4 under. Oosthuizen at 4 under in the clubhouse. Henley battling the elements. He stays at 4 under. Barabello, he's at 4 under early in his round, and we'll keep an eye as it looks like the winds are picking up just a little bit. In the meantime, tomorrow, football camp for our friend over at MUS, Glenn Rogers Jr., coach, and our coach when it comes to the high school scene. He's with us every Friday. Glenn, nice to chat with you during the summer. We don't often do that, but you've got a big camp tomorrow night?
Absolutely. And Tate,
Me out to the ballpark.
There
man,
you go.
look, hey,
Yes, sir.
I thought about baseball. Listen to you guys talk about baseball, man. I used to love watching and listening to Harry Carey sing that song, man, on the Cubs Network, on WGNN, and then watching the Braves, man.
You got us some baseball news, too, today. You've got Maurice Hampton baseball news, don't you?
Absolutely, man. Hey, Mo is up in Wisconsin. He's in a summer league, playing a full summer schedule. Then next week, he's been up there now almost 2 months. Then next week he goes to a MLB showcase, and so he's eligible, Dave and Stats, to get drafted during this draft because he did not play this. He's not enrolled in a school right now, so he's eligible for a draft right now, and so we're keeping our fingers crossed for that, and he's still possibly still looking to play some college football according to his draft status.
Huh. So,
really? Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a full summer for that young man. I've been so happy for him. I'm kind of disappointed. Didn't stay in school, but he left LSU and got in the portal. But he was up at MUS working out every single day. I mean, out there, rain or shine, whether he was out there, man, getting ready for this summer league he was playing in, and then this showcase that's coming up. He and our baseball coach, John Jonathan, they were out there working.
Well,
a lot during when we were still in school in springtime.
Well, we wish him absolutely the best of luck. I hate it that he's no longer with LSU. That last year was crazy for a lot of folks, and I want to get into something about that in a minute with you. But tell us about your camp for tomorrow night.
Yeah, we got it's called the Night Owls. First time we've had a football camp under the lights at Hull Dobbs. Grades 5 through 8, 5th through 8th graders. A lot of competition, a lot of fun, a lot of drill work. But we also gonna have a lot of one-on-ones and 7-on-7 competition, and it's just gonna be a fun time. We've got a couple former players that's gonna work the camp with us, and some of our coaches, and just looking forward to having some kids out. Finally doing some football type drills this time of year, because a lot of times in this last year and a half we haven't been able to have a camp or anything football wise this time of year. Last year in the spring before that and the summer before that, so. Just excited, man, to get out and have a camp and get these young kids back in the swing of things and try to get back to some normalcy, David Stats.
Now, this is open for everyone?
For everyone, open to the public, grades 5 through 8. It's a $50 camp fee. You can register online at musowls.org, or you can call me at 901-502-3877. We're taking walk-up registrations. Between 5:30 and 5:40, between 5 and 5:45. The camp will start at 6, from 6 to 9. It's just going to be a fun time for these young guys, and us having a chance as coaches to get a chance to see some of these young guys, even some of our 7th or 8th graders, and just evaluate them and see how they are, how they progressed during this pandemic.
What kind of things do you do at this camp? Sorry, Brett.
We'll do fundamentals, drill work, fundamentals. Teaching kids how to get in the stands properly, teaching how to run routes, teaching kids how to backpedal and come out of the break. And then we'll go into some one-on-ones with O-linemen,
fundamentals,
and then we'll do some one-on-ones with the receivers and DBs and running backs and linebackers. And then we'll do a little 7-on-7, and then we'll have a skills competition to wrap it up.
And, Glenn, I don't care who you are, whether it's Gabe Kuhn or Glenn Rogers or Maurice Hampton or a Heisman Trophy winner, somebody has to teach you how to get in the stance for the first time.
Absolutely. A lot of these kids are playing football, some for the first time, some are getting ready to play for the first time. And then some that's been playing. Some of them sometimes don't know how to get in the proper stance, whether they're a receiver or O-lineman or pass, but getting ready to pass set or getting ready to come off and run block. And, with the way offenses are nowadays, and Gabe knows this, a lot of quarterbacks and centers don't even know how to snap the ball from under center. So everybody's used to the gun. So we teach fundamentals like that, and then we try to get into some competition stuff to make it fun and competitive.
And isn't it great to be back together? Glenn, through the years, I've never, ever, ever, ever had a lonely moment. But I don't mind being alone. But coming out of the pandemic, I need people. I need a crowd. I need to be with people. And I know youngsters sure need that, and I know you're glad to be out with it over and celebrating with the family of athletics.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to see fans back in the stands. It was weird looking at pro football and college games. You know, the pro football didn't have any fans, and then colleges were limited. And like us at high school last year, we were very limited. And so I'm just excited to see the families come out and support these young men on all these levels, high school, college, and the pros, because these guys need that. I couldn't imagine Dave and Stats looking up in the stands, high school and college, and even in the pros, and not seeing my family at the game. That to me, it's just something wrong. The pandemic has done a lot of things mentally to people as well, and we all know that.
I want to ask you a bit about that pandemic. There are public schools, good programs like the one you face a lot, Whitehaven.
Yeah.
Where you scrimmage with those guys, where they have missed a whole year. In other words, juniors didn't play. Now they're senior leaders. They've missed a whole year. How much do you think they will be affected, these city programs that didn't play this year, as compared to the guys like you and Christian Brothers and all the private schools that did play this year?
And Dave, to your point, you know, we got 6 guys that's going to play college football this year. Two is walk-ons, one earned a presidential scholarship at Jackson State, Tyler Young, and then but the other guys are going on scholarships. And so, you know, these city school kids, Dave and Stats, they're going to feel the effects of it for at least 2 years. I mean, think about it. The kids that were seniors last year didn't have a season. Some of those guys didn't even get on anybody's radar. And so, you know, we had a camp this spring, the VTO camp, to try to help the upcoming juniors. The city schools, the city system put on a camp back in December to try to help the seniors that were coming out. But when you talk to these scouts and you know, talk to these college coaches that are coming out, looking at kids, and the ones that stopped by our place in the springtime, they didn't have anything on a lot of those city school kids because some of them didn't play as sophomores. So, you know, you don't have no film as a junior, and then some of the seniors, some of them on the bubble, but didn't have a senior year. It's a disaster, and that's why so many kids in the portal.
Life-changing.
So many colleges are picking from the portal. Go ahead, Stats.
Potentially life-changing, Glenn, for people to be denied opportunity.
Yeah, and you know, I was at the Memphis camp a couple of weeks ago, and the Austin P camp last week at Lausanne. And that's a kid at Ridgeway, Marcus Smith, offensive lineman. He was amazing. He's going to be a senior. He's a little bit overweight, but the 2 camps I saw him in, the Memphis camp as well, he was special. He was special. And then, of course, you know, Walter Nolan, you know, he's on everybody's radar. He don't have to camp. But then you had some kids that to me really, really stood out over at the Memphis camp. And when I said stood out, Stats and Dave, these guys stood out. You got Brock Glenn from Lausanne, a quarterback, and Braylon Ragland at White Station. Ragland has not played a snap for White Station at football. But, boy, can he spin the ball. They both can throw the ball. They got a lot of velocity. And, I mean, it was amazing to see those 2 guys compete. And then our guy, George Hemsley, who was competing for our starting quarterback job, he's been camping. He's been doing an amazing job. And so it's just good to see these guys at camps, you know, hopefully getting some looks and start getting some offers because we got a lot of kids that need it. They need these scholarship offers to continue their education and to continue their playing career.
When you talk to these kids, and I know there's an educational aspect to all of these camps, and you talk about getting scholarships and things of that nature. Have you talked yet about name, image, likeness, or have you talked about the transfer portal and what opportunities that might afford you?
Well, you know, my nephew, Kamari Rogers, is being heavily recruited out of Holmes County. My brother's the head coach, Marcus Rogers. He's the head coach at Holmes County. And so my nephew is the number 1 player right now in the state of Mississippi. He's a DB. It's going to come down between Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Miami, in my estimation. He still got Notre Dame on the hoof, but we were talking about the name, image, and likeness with him about a month ago. And Dave, and Stats, this thing is going to be huge. I mean, for these kids nowadays in college to go and set up an autograph session at a car dealership or at a Home Depot or at a local Walmart, and these kids are going to get paid off of that. And then if somebody wants to put a poster up for them in their business or at a bus stop or do jersey autographs, these kids are going to get some profit off of that now. So it's exciting to see that. And what to me, the thing about it is that how is the NCAA going to try to govern all this stuff? That's to me what I'm waiting to see, because these kids deserve to get a piece of that pie, because you go to games and these kids, the fans got on all these jerseys, and these kids don't get a dime off of that. Their pictures plastered all over the place, posters all over the place, and billboards, and they don't get a dime. Now they can get something off of this, and so I'm happy for these young men and their families. But it's going to be amazing to see how they're going to govern all this stuff, because I guarantee you, David, that people, the local business community where these young men will be playing at, will be pulling at these guys, because they know a lot of these guys got a heavy fan following on Twitter and Instagram. So these businesses are going to try to pull those guys in. I don't blame them.
It'll be fun to watch the social posting, because you can get paid by post for a particular entity if that company will pay you for that. You sort of your endorsement on a post. I don't know how it'll be legislated. It'll be interesting. And how do you deal with the transfer portal? Really quickly, in 1 minute, tell me what is your recommendations for that? I mean, when should a kid decide? Okay, I haven't had the right shot here.
Well, I guarantee you, Dave, by his sophomore year, he should know whether he's playing or not, and seeing ample playing time. And these colleges. To me, the transfer portal, the biggest thing that, to me, the biggest entity that is hurting is the high school kid. Because now, if you need O-line or D-line or quarterback, you're going to the portal right away, because some of these guys have played, some have games under their belt and experience. So you're going to the portal. And so, to me, the portal is going to put a big damper on the high school kid that's coming out being recruited. But, it's a good thing for these college kids, because the coaches leave, and I said this before, if a coach can leave without penalty, why shouldn't a player? If that coach recruited that kid and now that coach is gone in a year or 2 years, why should the kid be punished now? So this is an avenue and out for them, and so I'm so happy that the NCAA has not put a punishment on these kids for a one-time transfer, because these coaches, it all started with the coaches leaving so fast for these programs, and get the kids a fair chance to go somewhere where they can be recruited all over again, or get closer to home in some cases.
Glenn Rogers, we appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow on your camp.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the show, man. And I love listening to you guys. I really do. I love listening to you guys all the time.
We appreciate that. We truly
love
do.
you, Glenn.
Yep.
Love you guys. Thank you.
That is Glenn Rogers, our coach. For sure, he's brought to you by Grind City Brewing. I tell you, I talk all the time about Tiger Tail because I love it, but now I'm going to be really excited. I'm going to try this new Pilsner that they have. I think it's called Hoppy. I think that might be it. They're sending it to me so I can get a handle on it. But it's another Grind City Brewing, fantastic product. I don't know if this one will get to Kroger exactly the way they did with Tiger Tail, and I still love Tiger Tail. I tell people I have this new thing. It's a craft malt liquor. They go, malt liquor? I go, no, not malt liquor. Craft malt liquor. There's a difference. This, by the way, Tiger Tail is the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. Tiger Tail comes in 16-ounce six-packs. It's got a kick. It's got 7.5% alcohol. But the great thing is the way it's crafted. It's got a bold flavor, but it's smooth. It's got a finish that makes it so incredibly easy drinking. You just fall in love with it as soon as you start to sip it. You really do. And it's become so popular. It used to be you could only get it at that beautiful brewery. That tap room they got downtown, it's gorgeous. You could only get it there at Grind City Brewing. Then it became a little bit more popular there. They put it into spirit shops like the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. And now you can get it in Kroger. That's how good it is. Try it. You'll thank me later. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing. Taking care of beerness in Memphis. We're going to take care of this week when we come back with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the new Callaway Epic Woods and Apex irons with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with pin seeker technology, or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County. Get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
It's June and time for our anniversary sale here at Sunrise. Plenty of Buicks and GMCs in stock and coming. Don't see it on my lot? Reserve an incoming unit. Rates as low as 0%. Rebates up to $6,000. And over $11 million in used cars, late model, low mileage vehicles, certified cars, even vehicles under $10,000. We specialize in low payments and less than perfect credit. And check out the grand opening of our all-new truck corral. Over 75 trucks and SUVs in stock. If we don't have it, we'll find it for you. Memphis' only dedicated used truck dealership in the old Hummer building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. We make it fun to buy a car.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We busy with the deal, we get insane.
Welcome back in. So nice to have you with us all week long. U.S. Open Week's always one of our favorites. There's been plenty of things to chat about, too, with all the NBA comings and goings. It's been brought to you by Conway and Carrier, I should say. Conway Services, you know all about them. The Mid-South premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric company. But now they got this deal with Carrier. They've teamed up again. They've done this several years where they will give you a gift card if you buy the new technology. You get a Carrier Infinity system, you'll get $1,500 if you were to buy that. Now, if your system is 2 units deep, one upstairs and downstairs or front of the house, back of the house, you're talking $3,000 in cards Oh, my gosh, that'd come in handy for this summer vacation. Plus, John throws in the April Air Cleaner. He's going to get a 10-year parts warranty to you on the house and a free Nest thermostat. That's the latest and greatest. That's about $2,000 or more of freebies. And John is making easy payment plans right now, $139 a month, so everybody could afford it. You get the cards, you get the freebies, and $139 a month. It's time for new technology. Just call 384-3511. That's Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. It is now officially Taco Bell Crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking